All right, we are live. I am Michael from Destro Designs, and we are live in Viper Den Studios. I am joined tonight by special guest Aaron Sparrow. Just a quick little intro for you guys that maybe are unfamiliar with Aaron. He's done work with Disney, Pixar, HB can be found from HBO's Young Justice, and writing the pre-Dynamite Darkwing Duck comics, which I think sounds very interesting. And you were crucial to kind of bringing that character back. Is that right?
Yeah. So when I first so Boom had tried to hire me because Boom Studios had the license at the time. Although
Mm.
when I applied, I did not know that. They tried to hire me twice, and the money was just not there. Like one time was to like oversee like their Warhammer line, and another
Mm-hmm.
time was something else. But on the third time, like I had actually reached out because I was working for a company called ToyRocket.com,
Mm.
and it was going into bankruptcy. The owner had been like just mismanaging all of the money,
Oh,
and having an affair with one of the employees. So the writing was on the wall
oh, wow.
there. His
Right.
problem
Right.
is when you have an affair, when you cheat on your wife with one of the employees of the company she co-owns,
Oh,
that leads to problems.
oh,
So the writing
brutal.
was on the wall, and I had to get out. So I reached back out to Boom, and they said, "Yeah, come in for an interview." And
Right.
so I went in, and they basically told me that like we have the Disney license and we want you to oversee these Disney books. And I said, well, what properties do you have under the license? And they were like, we have all the Disney standards, we have the Muppets, and we have Pixar. And I said,
Mm.
the Disney standards. I said, does that include like the animated characters? And they said, yeah. So this is what they and I said, do you have Darkwing Duck? And they were like, what is that? And so
No.
I explained to them, they didn't even know all the things that they had access to. And so I explained to them like what that was. And I had always had this idea in my head of this story that I would do if I got a chance to revive Darkwing in any capacity.
Oh,
Because it was
nice.
one of my favorite shows. So I had this idea for, like we'll parody the Duck Knight Returns with the lightning bolt and, like do the whole thing. And, it'll be
Nice.
like a year where he hasn't been like Darkwing and, and will kind of go back and like then reset up everything. And just do a natural continuation of the show and not a reboot. So that's what we ended up doing, and I did it with James Silvani. And then there was a whole like behind the scenes mess that happened where my credit was taken away and they overwrote my stuff.
Oh,
But then later another company got the license and they wanted to reprint the Boom material, and Disney Publishing, to their credit, said, well, we don't really like the material that was produced by Boom. That's why they ended up losing the license, is because they were doing things without permission. And we want you to bring back the original editor / writer that did this book and see if he can restore his scripts. So we
right,
did,
right.
so we did in a book that was called the Definitively Dangerous Edition, where all of the overwriting was taken out. I mean, there were some things I couldn't change that they had changed along the way from the basic drafts, like they had fridged Morgana and some things like that I couldn't undo, because we
Mm.
just had to
Okay.
spend all the money. We would have spent all the money like redoing those pages, but we got to do
Right.
a new series afterwards where we intended to undo all that. So it was really gratifying to be able to be vindicated in that way.
Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, it's you put all that kind of effort into something, and then to just have very little done to it, and then giving all the credit to somebody else. That sounds pretty shitty for sure. Yeah, that would drive me nuts. So, and your current project that you have going on, which I tried to check out a little bit today, was that Kneel Before Doomface. That looks very interesting. And what you were
Yeah,
saying about it, earlier, really, really piqued my attention. If you want to talk about that for a second.
yeah, that's my first creator-owned book that I put out. We're a little bit behind schedule on delivery. We finished the book on time, but post-production took longer than I thought. So with the second issue, I'm gonna do a little bit differently. We're not gonna do like a crowdfunded model. We're gonna do a pre-order model. What I want to do is I want to finish the book or have it near completion before we actually put it up for order, so that like
Sure.
people are getting it faster, and we want to be able to produce them faster. So I learned a
Nice.
lot on this first campaign, but it's the story of a villain in the 1980s who on the eve of his ultimate triumph, he's banished to the timeless void, and then in the present day, through the stupidity of a ghost hunters type reality show, they end up breaking the totem that holds him in the void, and he's brought back at the end of 2024 and decides that
Nice.
he's going to he's basically going to reestablish himself as the premier villain in the world. But obviously the world's changed quite a bit. And then the B story is two small town heroes coming to the big city to make a name for themselves. And then those two, the A and the B plot, will eventually be on a collision course.
Nice. It does sound interesting. The villain. in this, like the whole idea of it kind of like your version of Cobra. That sounds really interesting. And just the way you were describing it was really, really interesting. So I'm definitely going to have to check that out. And so when do you think that'll be out? You got any idea when people?
Yeah, so it's with the printer. So we should be fulfilling early next year, and
Oh, sweet.
get that first issue out to everybody, and then launch the pre-order for 2.
There's 2.
Because
Oh, awesome.
two is in progress right now. We're a little over halfway done already.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. And because I'm relatively new to this too, will it be available for people who didn't get in on it on, say, the Kickstarter part of it, or was it be able to get it elsewhere? Anybody else be able to get that?
Well, we are overprinting. So right now, if you go to the Kneel Before Doomface Kickstarter and you put in a pledge, you'll be able to get the issues.
Oh, sweet.
But yeah, but we'll have extra issues that not every cover necessarily, but we'll have some extra issues that we put up for sale as soon as we get it back from the printer, and everybody who pre-ordered it or who kickstarted it, as soon as they're fulfilled, it'll go up for
awesome. That's cool, because I figured maybe somewhere along the way, some of the people, the faithful here, they do like to support and like to get into things. So I wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden a bunch of people kind of grab some from you. So that's awesome. That's awesome, and it does look interesting. Unfortunately I only had limited time to kind of get into it, but I know the very first thing I saw, which was the picture on the Kickstarter, was like really, really cool. So I found that to be, I was like, yeah, that's exciting. And what kind of, if as a comic writer, what does a comic writer like to read? What kind of comics do you like to read?
Oh man, I like to read all sorts of stuff. I like to read crime comics. I like to read horror comics. Obviously, superhero comics are a big big thing. The closest thing I could compare Kneel Before Doomface to is if you enjoy the Tick, or you enjoy the Venture Brothers, or Sam and Max. Those are all big influences on the book. So as well as all the '80s properties like G.I. Joe. That's why I chose intentionally to have the villain be banished from the 80s. So when he comes back, and he's obviously looking for all of the the old enemies that he used to have in the 80s. Like we have our version of Cobra, we have our version of G.I. Joe that are in universe, which are all a lot of fun. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. And because I always I did collect comics for a while, but it was all the very obvious superhero stuff. I loved Punisher. I loved Spider-Man. Wolverine. I think everybody loved Wolverine. So I did have some of those comics, but it's funny. It's funny you mentioned the Tick, because way back when my good friend's stepfather, I think, just gave away a bunch of stuff he had into my buddy and all his friends, and I wound up with the first 10 issues of the Tick. So I do have those somewhere sitting in a box, I think. As a matter of fact, there's right over there. Yeah. It always just kind of stuck out because it's very offbeat. So if I'm even when I showed the kids, the kids at least have heard of Spider-Man before, and the other ones that I was showing them, maybe not the Punisher so much, but definitely. But when they saw the Tick, they were like, "What is that?" He's just so offbeat. But it's a super cool comic. That was interesting that you and so
great animated series too. They had a great and spawned two good shows.
Oh, nice. There was shows. The Tick.
Yeah, there was a live action show originally with Patrick Warburton as the Tick, which
was pretty good.
And then Amazon did one as part of their pilot season, and did a season of it, and it was a little bit darker in tone, a little bit weirder, but the Tick was the same. The world he was in was darker, but the Tick was the same kind of character. So it was entertaining as well.
I'm definitely gonna have to.
Peter Safranowicz.
Right. Oh, no shit. That's the live action one sounds really interesting. I'm definitely gonna have to check that out. That's wild. I didn't know that was the thing. Yeah, I mean, and just when you said crime comics, horror comics, it just kind of, because it's been so long since I've gotten into comics like that I kind of forgot that there was all these different genres that you can get deep like that into all the different ones. One of the ones that I have, they made a movie of it, was Watchmen. I absolutely love that. I know that's more of a graphic novel, but I always thought that was great. I thought they did a good job with the movie too. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a fairly it was basically they used the comic as storyboard, so it was a really close approximation of the the comic itself.
Right, which is cool, and I'm really here for adult themed comics, like since we're right here, I guess this wasn't on the list, but I guess it's pretty it's a softball enough question. So they're doing the Transformer GI Joe crossover that's coming up, and I always like to hear what people think about combining the two. What do you, like me personally? I don't know how interested I am per se, because it's just like whenever I think of Transformers GI Joe, it's like, oh, the Transformers just slaughter everybody, and then it's over in like a day and a half. Is that what you're telling me the story is? So, but again, we're talking about toys and comics, so I can suspend a little disbelief and find a thing. But I'm interested for it. The everybody that I know that is reading the current comics, where I guess is going to be the source material, says that they absolutely love it. And I do like everything else that they like, I like. So I guess that's good. And if they've got that guy from Inevitable coming to direct it, it's like, okay, it definitely seems like it's worth a shot.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know who will end up handling the cartoon. Obviously, there's a lot of things when you go from comics to cartoon, there's a lot more people to get involved and a lot more agendas that come into things. So I don't know how the cartoon will play out. But if it follows the Energon Universe comics, which are being done by Skybound right now, done by Robert Kirkman, who created The Walking Dead, who created Invincible, if they follow what they're doing, it should be successful, because Josh Williamson over there is doing the writing. He's like basically architecting it with Robert Kirkman, and it's been fantastic so far. The other nice thing is Skybound also picked up Larry Hama as A Real American Hero and is continuing that. And it seems that moving to another publisher, moving from IDW, where it's kind of seemed like Larry was maybe going through the motions and didn't really have fire anymore, moving over to Skybound, it seems like it reinvigorated him, and he's writing some killer stuff. And plus, you've got great art by Chris Mooneyham and Paul Pelletier when Mooneyham needs a break. You've got them on that title, and they look so good.
Nice. That, and again, like these people I refer to, which I'll get to, some of their names are probably here in the chat. They echo that same sentiment about Hama going through the motions in that time. It was very obvious. Like I've heard people say exactly that. But I am going to go back here and see some of the dudes in the chat this week in Hearthstone. What's up, my dude? Big Red in the house. What's up, my brother? Roblox is in the house. The Happy Plague Doctor. I think I saw you here last week. Welcome back. Pop Cold Frenzy, thank you for making it, my dude. There's Big Red, giant man size thing. He's here as well. Very good. Yeah, the comments will eventually take on a life of their own. We'll say something that they'll turn into a whole other thing, and it's usually pretty good. Yeah,
good. I like that. Yeah, we do. That happens on. So I'm on every Saturday. I'm over on Thinking Critical with Comics Aficionados, and we just talk about like current comic and pop culture stuff. And the chat takes on a life of its own. And sometimes I'm like, I just want to read from the chat and pull it in. But it's like we got to stay on topic. But the chat's having so much fun.
For sure. Well, I mean, that is part of. So Aaron and I spoke briefly earlier, just kind of about what it is. And one of the things I did say is that when I have a guest, I do put actual effort into trying to stay on what we're doing, because I will go. They'll all probably just tell you right now in the chat that I can go so sideways. And the one thing I always say to people, like when I'm talking about like, oh, I was on the other night, and after I had did a few of the shows, the one thing I noticed, I was like, man, I can't believe that I haven't had a bunch of moments where I'm like, wait, what was I talking about? Like that's only happened truly like twice. There's been times where in my head I'm finishing up the story and I'm like, fuck, what was I talking about? And there's something in front of me that kind of jerks me back into it. So it's really only been twice that I've had to abandon the thought and just pick up with something completely different. So I'm shocked that hasn't happened at least a dozen times. It should happen like once a show, if anything. So, but thank you everybody for joining us. Appreciate it. I know I actually used to do this at 9, and because we're all men of a certain age, the show was creeping in past midnight, and my dudes were very nice. Nobody complained, but I was like, wait a minute. We can't be up like this. This is unnecessary. I'm just gonna try to start an hour earlier and see what we can do. And but I also, so coming up though in the new year, my brother Jay Antonio Nunya, that's his handle over on Twitter. Very talented. Yeah, he's awesome. That dude is awesome. He and I we speak all the time. Like the last time we had a minute, he and I were on the phone for like 2 hours. Now we're obviously both talkers, right? But I was like just cleaning up, and the next thing you know, I was like, dude, we've been on the phone for 2 hours. I gotta go. But no, he's awesome. Coming up in the new year, he and I are gonna try to do a midweek show, the Power Hour, where we are gonna actually just be like, here are these things we want to hit on quick, and then just make it, get it over with. There's not gonna be like any real meandering. We're gonna we haven't decided if we'll record, because if we record it, it'll be an hour, But if it's live and there's comments and we're going off of that, so we'll see. As it's a time thing. I don't think either of us want to commit to every week, but it's probably going to be at least once or twice a month that we're gonna try to knock that out and see what happens from there. But because he's he's one of the first things I saw that he had a picture of a salvo, classified scale custom, and he's like one of my favorites. So I saw that and I was just like, oh my god, people are doing this. People are just making their own salvos. I was like, and then I hit him up, and the next thing you know, we were friends, because yeah, dude, that one is good, and actually he's got this killer snake eyes too that is just out of control.
I was looking on my desk here because I was working on a salvo, but I might have put it away when I like reorganized everything just for Christmas while I was Christmas decorating. But yeah,
that's what's up.
I haven't painted him yet, but like on a bazooka body, and I've got all the gun belts to go around his legs and whatnot. One I do have here right in grabbing distance is I picked up a bunch of Veliverse figures pretty cheap in a collection, and I've been turning some of them into I'm still working on him, turning him into an Iron Grenadier, like heavy gunner.
Oh, shit.
So
okay.
Give them
nice.
I'll end up giving him some shoulder armor and then the big the big gun.
Dude, I am all about that. So I remember you and I first spoke. I had just kind of put out a thing. My brother Chuckin' and Truckin' was looking for, I don't know if you guys ever wound up speaking, because I can't remember what it was. I think he wanted a vamp or a stinger, something done with a stinger, maybe. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, stinger repaint. I don't think he ever reached out to me. I don't remember ever seeing it.
Oh, no doubt. But yeah, that was you put your hand up, and the next thing you know, we spoke, and the rest is history. But yeah, circling back to that, there was one guy that I had talked to about it, I think on Instagram, because I don't remember how we got in the conversation of it, and he offered, but I would be interested to send you the figures. So I started to mention it, or I did mention it when we spoke earlier. What really sent me into the stratosphere for these figures was this, right? This is the actual box. This is the figure that I got last December that set off this whole thing. And what I have a bunch of them. I think it's 13 or 14. And what I want to do with this guy, and potentially a second one, because I was gifted one that kind of means a lot to me. I want to make them just special touches, right? Just to make it look like a squad leader, right? Just some more black added to like the chest rig, maybe the shield, like, something easy, really. Oh, I'm sorry. Listen, mate, say easy. I have no idea. But just simple touches to kind of make it look different than the rest. So you and I we'll chat about that. I'd be happy to send those to you and figure something out for it.
Absolutely. Cool. I have a couple in progress, a couple of Alley Vipers that I was redoing into Firefly colors, because I wanted them to look more urban. First of all, like, more like urban assault troops, and that would actually be in a city, as opposed to looking like, the orange and blue there. They look like they're invading like a basketball team arena. I love that color scheme. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
Tactically, it just doesn't make a lot of sense.
100%. So what I do with the obvious point of what you're saying is my headcanon is that the Alley Vipers are so badass that they're not actually trying to hide from you from camouflage. They're trying to tell you that we're right fucking here. Let's go. Send your bullets so we can start this fight. We are here to fight. We're not here to hide. So I always, but it is even as a kid, I think I have this memory of talking to my mom, because I remember I used to tell my mom about, just even when I was a kid, I used to just blabber about these figures and card art. And I remember telling my mom, why in the world would they make them this bright? You know what I mean? Like, even as a kid, it was flabbergasting, the color. So yeah, no, I agree on the thing. And that's why I wound up getting a couple Fort mods so I could get this guy. They definitely nailed it on this one for sure. I love this is the Trench Viper.
Uh-huh.
I love this color scheme. I think it looks good. I actually got a gridiron belt fed for this particular guy here. And I think that looks pretty good too. So I love these guys. The Fort Mod, I don't know. Do you have one of those? Do you know what I'm talking about? The stackable. A lot of people call them the porta potty.
No, I
I don't
haven't
know.
gotten any of the sometimes with like the Hasbro Pulse stuff, I get annoyed because
Mm,
it bothers me that that they're doing like proprietary stuff that you can only get through their website. Like you can't order it through, and so it's harder to and since it's like limited release kind of stuff, like it's like, okay, well, I just spent all this money on this stuff over here. I'm not jumping in on that. But I do want to get some of those. I like the Trench Vipers and I like the idea of like the modular play sets. I just wish that they made them more available.
right,
I'd like to see some of this stuff out there more. Because sometimes I don't know when things are going just Hasbro Pulse exclusive. It's like I've got so
for
much
sure.
to keep up with, and I collect so many different lines that like I'm like, oh, where is that again? Where is that? Where? How do I get that?
Well, I tell you what,
Mhm.
I'll send you links to if I know who needs another social media. If you're on Facebook, my brother Jeremy, and I know Facebook groups have a bad rap, and rightfully so. But my brother Jeremy has a group that is good. You know, it's not the insanity that are these other groups. Jeremy is on top of it. And if you just are existing in that group, he gives everyone text. So you'll just get a notification that says everyone. And when he hits you with that, you can take a look, and he's very good. Plus, also the gentleman that is in our chat here, Pop Cult Frenzy, has the most ridiculous on the daily, up to date, where to not just get what's good or out right now, but what is on sale. So I have a thing with this guy where we've been celebrating it. Every time I buy something through his affiliate link, I started keeping track of how many it was. And we are up to 104 or 107. The figure count is up to 107. We've been celebrating and doing giveaways. But anyway, the reason it's like a third of my or a little less than a third of my collection. So I mentioned this because just having him in the Twitter feed, that's all it is. And then he's not just G.I. Joe, it's all related type stuff. And it's like almost, I tell him every time I talk about him, I say it's an unbelievable service that he does for everybody, because it's right there. Like it's for your viewing pleasure, as well as, like every time something on Amazon drops, by $5 or more or something like that, and he pops it up there. And like all my snow serpents, I'm happy to say I got probably every single one of those because I just kept an eye, and anytime they went below $20, I was like, you know what, I'm going to start building this Arctic troop now.
Yeah, I hope with the announcement of the Arctic Hiss and people going in on that, I hope that they're going to re-release the Ice Bats, because those never saw enough distribution, and I'd like to get a couple more of those.
I couldn't agree more. I only have one, and I got one of those, and then one of the deluxe snow serpent with the wolf pelt and the whole thing. They're amazing. So I would hope that they would. I mean, I don't know what happened with those bats, because like I have a pre-order on Entertainment Earth for 5 of them that is scheduled to go off in May of 2026. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, BBTS has had them up too, I've noticed.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, at least they did a while ago. They still had pre-orders, and it said pre-order, and I was like, those have already been released. So I assume that there's like they're reproducing them.
Right. Huh. Yeah.
Put them out. At least everybody who came out on the card when they were doing those terrible sealed boxes.
Yes,
because they wanted to be more environmental. No, it was saving them money. That's why Hasbro was.
Yes. Stop. Yeah. Stop with that.
And it's so stupid.
No.
Like we took away the plastic window to bring you this plastic toy. Like, it's we got rid of the plastic straw, but here's your plastic cup. It's like these little like useless gestures. So I would like to see all of those re-released on the more traditional classified box with the the art and everything on the side, and you being able to actually see the figure, because I think that would actually like please a lot of collectors too, because if you're a carded collector and you've got all that stuff up, it is a weird break where all of a sudden you have these boxed ones with
right,
you can't even see the toy.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm weird. So I can't throw out my boxes. I'm going to probably have to come to that conclusion. Like I want to display the boxes as much as I want to display the figure. And then I've gotten some of the figures. I'm like, oh, I want I want to keep one of these in the box. So but I can appreciate exactly what you're saying about the way that looks. I do like the idea of, so I guess if there's something like that makes any sense, is basically I'll be right here building more of a display, and like all the figures that I do have open, I keep them bagged and stuff now because it's mostly about just shuffling them out to do dio shoots and stuff. But then ultimately they'll get displayed here. But what I do have is I've kept the retro collection. I have a couple of the, like my favorite ones. I'm just going to keep these, and I will make a display of these, like, just these, because this is what it was like when we were kids. This is how it looked, So I like having that like that. Like I got basically just like all the Cobra. I got this one, the bat, the eel, the snow serpent, like all the ones that I just thought were like iconic as a kid. Beachhead. I would like to get the Crimson Guard one to put in there, because the Crimson Guard was always a super cool figure. They were like elite, and really loved it. But I've said this before a couple of times. When I was a kid, I always felt like it was super weird that they were all red. Like I wish that they were blue, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they were Cobra Commander Special Guard, why are they all red like that? Like all his troopers were always blue. So then when they came out with
the cadet uniforms are blue. Now that we're getting a female Crimson Guard trooper, we might get the cadet from the cartoon that was in the all blue.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good call for sure. Well, you know what? We are on, since we're just kind of skipped the beat over to like 3 3/4. What was it like collecting as a kid? What comics, cartoons, figures, the whole nine?
I got in like right at the beginning of G.I. Joe, like when they still had the straight arm. And then I ended up rebuying those characters as when this came out with the swivel arm. But unfortunately I only had a couple straight arm before they made the switch, so I didn't have to spend too much replacing them. But my first my first GI Joe, I was in Kmart, and I was kind of like out of Star Wars at that point, because Star Wars had kind of like tapered off and they weren't really producing anything new. So what happened was, I was in Kmart and I was looking at these GI Joe toys that were in this big bin. They had just thrown them into a big bin by the checkout.
Oh,
and I was going through, and I was like, oh man, I can afford 2 of these. These guys are so cool.
Right.
And so I picked Flash, because he had his backpack to me looked like a jetpack. He had the cool padding on. He had like that. It was like something about him really appealed to me. Little down visor.
That whole padding thing was such a standout from all the other. There was like 3 other shapes they had. You know what I mean? But they were all green. So that really, I agree. That's a standout. I love it.
Yeah, so he's super popped, and so I was like, I'm gonna get that guy, and then I was like, I need a bad guy, and they had like the Cobra officer, or maybe it was I got the officer first before I got the troopers, because then I kind of learned about the hierarchy of Cobra, and I was like, I need more troopers. I only need like 1 or 2 officers, but I need more troopers.
Right, you need a bunch of troopers. Yeah, dude, that is such an iconic look. So that is where, all right, so at first, like how they have the classified and the retro line. At first, I was like, why are they doing this? I feel like if they just focused on one, but now I really appreciate that, they came out with the original classified version of the Trooper. It's got that classification that I love. They did it just right. But then they came out with this, which is just the retro version. And this looks just like when we were kids. And I loved it. Was such an iconic look to me. And so now that I have this, I go, oh, okay. I can still enjoy doing my photo shoots with the classified mainline version, but then I can have, like I just did a shot the other day with this guy, the retro Viper and the retro bat, and I was like, okay, here is where it's at to kind of have that look, together, because we talked about it on the show for like almost 2 weeks that I like the Viper Island, or not the Viper. I like the 3-pack Cobra Viper. So there's the Cobra Island, like number 12 or whatever it is, and that's that different body, but with the bright red, and it's fine. But the 3-pack, that the Viper that comes from the 3-pack has that more maroon muted red everywhere with that slightly different chest body, and for whatever, and the scarf thing, and for whatever reason, that's my favorite. Like when I'm doing a, what's supposed to be a realistic shoot with toys, right? But for some reason, when I look at that with those muted colors, it looks more like it's battle ready. It actually made a joke that I called the retro one the inside Viper. Like, this is the dude in the armory pointing and handing out the guns from the thing. He's the inside Viper, and then the other guys are the outside ones. But yeah, so I actually do now very much appreciate, like when I hear about, upcoming versions of things on the retro side, I go, yeah, okay, I want that for sure. Like I somebody brought up, are we going to get the retro of like Alley Viper or Shockwave, which I'm always talking about, and I was like, well, Shockwave was pretty original, right? Like when they put out the mainline one, which I don't know if I have it right here, but that blue on blue with a little bit of yellow, it looked exactly like the other one. So I don't know how much more you can bring that to it. You could certainly go with an even brighter Alley Viper with maybe, more a different shield or something along those lines. But yeah, I'm not too sure about that. Yeah, so when I was a kid, I loved Shockwave and Alley Viper and Beachhead. Those are like my three favorites, and I always kind of just go like, Beachhead is barely above the other two, but he's number one because he had that kick-ass character, right? That was in the movie, that was in the cartoons. I fucking love him. He reminded me of like my dad. My dad yelled at everybody like that all the time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and so it just, I don't know, it always kind of stuck. And plus, I just thought he was super badass. I don't know what it is about that original look. Like, I love that new Night Force one for sure, but this is just, I don't know what it is, man. This really does it for me. So I always hold him as number one. But like, I was obsessed with the card art for Shockwave and the Alley Viper. Like, I mean, I would just stare at this shit. Like almost like here, the toys are right here, but I would just be like staring at this shit. There'd be times I remember my mother used to make jokes, on the back where I had all the little pictures, and I'd be like, with that right in my face, like, wow, man, these are all so incredibly awesome. And like, that's why I always say it was not surprising that, 20 something years down the line from the last time, or 30 something years down the line from the last time I bought a G.I. Joe, that I was immediately obsessed and collecting like I am, because yeah, I liked it as a kid. I have a couple of the original figures from when I was a kid. I have Psych Out, Thrasher, Torch, Repeater, and somebody else, but no gear for any of them. But they are the original figures. And then, I started buying some 3 3/4 because I was like, oh, you know what? I think I want some of the original ones that I had. So somebody gifted me an Alley Viper, a complete, crisp, minty clean Alley Viper at that. I got the Salvo. I'm currently looking for an Ambush. I'm actually having a hard time remembering who do we got here. Oh, Mainframe, Blizzard, Alley Viper, Shockwave, Scrap Iron, Lightfoot, Salvo. Yeah. So those are all, I won't pull them all out, but those are all complete 3 3/4 ones. I was gifted a few other ones, but I won't take them all out to go through all that. But I love all of them. I actually got a Scarlet Snake Eyes 2-pack that it's not like super old school or anything, and I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see it, but I just love it. Yeah, it's super cool. It's a gentleman who sent me that, just another jerk. We do a thing, where like when I first got to like when I call them care packages, so just so you know what I'm talking about when I say that, like when I first got around here in somewhere in like May, one of the guys that I became very close with, my brother CG Horror, he was going through some stuff personally, and he was missing out on some Joes. So I basically just sent him like a Dark Lawn and some stickers like, hey man, you're here, take this, that wave came out. That whole wave was awesome. So I just sent him a little something, and he's always kind of said that it was a huge deal for him and in many ways, and it kind of set him in the right direction, and ultimately everything worked out for him. He actually generously sent me talk about coming back tenfold. He sent me a Serpentor, and then like a Python Patrol Viper, Python Patrol Trooper, and an Alley Viper. It was very generous of him. And that just kind of sparked, there's now, we all kind of, we'll send each other some stuff now and again when we can. And it's nice because like, if I've got an extra one of these and he doesn't have one, and I send him one, and then somewhere along the way, he sends somebody something extra that he has. And I don't know, it just, it seems to be nice for all the, just that little bit of, kind of you don't find anything happening like that on the internet that often, I would think. So it's nice.
I trade stuff with Doc, who's one of the other guys on Comics Aficionados on Saturday with me. He got into the GI Joe classified figures, and then he had found some like cheap at Ollie's that he sent to me, and then he had sent me some his tanks when they were there, some of the 3 3/4 ones, and so I was like, man, I got a bunch of extra classified figures that I bought for when they were on sale for customs that I never ended up doing. And now some of the things that I want to do customs of, they've actually made. So I was like, let me box all these up for you. So I got another box waiting to go out that's got like retro Scarlet, retro Stalker, Beachhead, all those for his collection. And then he actually scored me off of Temu or whatever it is, or AliExpress or one of those Chinese sites. He got me a bunch of like Cobra Troopers to add to my army, and I already have a ton of Cobra Troopers because I'm an army builder. So I already have a ton of Cobra Troopers. But I was like, sweet, now I can customize them into like jungle troops and or desert troops, which I love to do. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. So I was lucky. I wound up finding a guy locally that sold me a bunch of Python Patrol Vipers, but I've got 28 of those. that's my biggest number. So and again, I would only be able to have had that if a guy was, I think he sold me 15 of them at $10 a piece. So I would have never been able to achieve anything like that. But yeah, and then actually, gentlemen just sent me my brother Rock Lockdown. He needed to make some space on his shelves, so he's like, hey, I've got a bunch of this Python Patrol stuff. And he gave me such a ridiculously low number. I gave him more than he asked for because it was really like, dude, I would pay this and still be outrageously happy. So I've actually got to get them all out of the bag and put them up there. It's the only like group that I really have out and displayed for the most part. Like I did a photo shoot right over there with a bunch of the green shirt Joes, like the Striker and the Vamp and that missile system thing. But other than that, it drives me nuts. I can't wait to have like this part of the shelf built, and then I can actually pop everything on out there and display the shit out of it. I just saw in here, every time I look at, from my brother Dave Lovelock, every time I look at my 4-inch figures, I really question the idea of 6-inch. I would have loved if the POC line continued. Something about 3 3/4 or 4 inches is the perfect toy scale. Now, I'll tell you, when I look at those Hiya toys, that exquisite line of G.I. Joes that they do, that's fucking, I go, yeah, man, that's how you do 4 inches for sure. But also to speak to what he said about the POC, which is the Pursuit of Cobra line, those are really nice. Like the low light, the Beachhead. Like when I saw those, I was like, oh my God, those are really, really big. And I totally get why some people would prefer it, especially with the nostalgia of having grown up with it. You know what I mean? I feel like I think we were saying it earlier. For some reason, it's the 3 3/4 just doesn't have the detail. Not that I still don't love it as much as I always did, but when I can have something like this, it makes it difficult to want the 3 3/4. So I actually just opened this the other night. And I have 2 more to open, and I can't wait to do something with a fan to blow this soft good. But man, I had 3 of these on order, and I canceled 2 because at the time I was like, okay, that's like $150. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna get 1, make sure I like it, and then I'll see. And luckily, I was able to get 2 at my local Walmart. Actually, I think one I paid full price for, and when I went back the second time, I think the other one was $30. So I got lucky. But yeah, if you get a chance to score this figure, it's well worth it.
Oh yeah, and, I'll troop build that. That was one of my favorites. One of my favorites as a kid because I was like, oh, finally somebody for Dusty to fight. And then of course around the same time they came out with Dusty and Sandstorm, and I didn't like that Dusty as much as I liked the original, but I was happy to get his little desert fox, and then I would just pair it up with my original Dusty figure.
Nice, that's awesome, and the hype on this is real. As far as like what people are saying how ridiculous it is, and it's great. One thing I do have to say, I feel like Hasbro has kind of nailed the pets, like with this fucker right here. Really, really awesome. The detail on that face is nice. Now again, mind you, when I should when I so staunchly talk about GI Joe stuff, I should caveat by saying it's not like I collect all these other toys to really be able to compare it to, right? It's just my little view that I have going on there, you know. But I have started looking. My eyes have wandered a little bit. One thing I'm excited for is Valaverse is coming out with a Sam Fisher figure, the Splinter Cell guy.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited about that. I guess they're gonna do one. They're gonna do one figure, and then if it goes well, they'll come out with more. So I'm gonna tell everybody to make sure that they buy that shit because I want to see some other stuff. One thing that I would like to, if you know, again, this is like a very extra money type of thing. They did. I don't know what company made them, but there is a Metal Gear Solid very small line. I think it's like 8, 10 figures that are all based on characters from that original PlayStation 1 game. And I've only seen pictures of them. I've never even seen them in person, but they look awesome. Plus, I am obsessed with that game. Right? anything, anything.
McFarlane did those in back in the day. Those
Oh,
were the first ones. And then he did Metal Gear Solid 2. He did some figures from that. I've got figures from both of those.
Nice, really.
But like some other companies have held the license and done like more detailed figures and more posable figures since. But it's kind of like few and far between, and the scales are different, and it's interesting. So one of the things that I do is I work with my friend Jesse, and I basically do the art direction for Big Head Studios Customs, which if you're on Instagram, you can check them out. They do all sorts of custom heads and accessories for your action figures for customizers. So I've been able to direct some of that, and we've done a solid snake head that goes really nicely on the Snake Eyes body. You can repaint that original Snake Eyes and make it look like a really good Metal Gear Solid 1 Solid Snake.
Yeah, no shit. Okay, I can see that. Well, I tell you what, I am interested. Well, I have a big eye on customizing. It's my biggest crunch is time. I've literally spent the past like 6 months trying to figure out a way to somehow get paid for doing this so I can play with my fucking toys all day. Like I don't know how it's gonna happen. I don't know. I mean, obviously that's a fucking dream. But at the same time, I've literally been like, oh, when you hear other people talk about, oh, I've got the dream job, I get paid to do the thing I love. This is it. I was like, oh, this would be if this was the thing that I wanted somebody to pay me for. This is 100% it. Because like when I'm making dios and shit, dude, it's now sometimes don't get me wrong. I usually wind up having my time for this shit is at night after the kids have basically gone to bed. So there's you're never in the best state. All I want to do is go to bed. I'm 46 years old. Anytime after 9 o'clock, I am tired. You know what I mean? And so, I drag myself down. Like, but what I do for my own sanity is even if I can't set up a whole shot, I've gotten better at just doing 2 figures, something up close so I can do something, but also just opening something. Just sit down, open one of my figures, put it, even if I just put it right in the plastic bag and back on the shelf, I open it, I get to look at it, I play with it for a second, and I put it away. So I find that I'm a happier person in general when I get to do this kind of stuff. And with that being said, I've looked at, wanting to be able to, I've picked up paints and all kinds of stuff and I've slowly messed around. Like, again, this is very, very, the most rudimentary of things. The first thing I did is I turned one of these into a Iron Grenadier by just adding a little gold here and there. I don't even know. It's very tiny. And if you looked up close, it doesn't really look great, but from a distance in a photograph, it looks weathered and just enough. Like, when you put Destro neck to it and a couple guys, you go, yeah, that works.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, it's literally no thing at all. So the one thing that I've been chicken little and haven't grown the balls to try and do yet is, so the Night Force Quick Kick that just came out. I love that figure. He does look amazing.
I've not been able to get that. Like I keep trying. I saw that it just went up for 35 today. Like the post had just gone up. I went to go over to get it and it was already gone. And it's like, it's pissing me off. I want that back so bad.
I'll send it to you if you need one.
Are you serious? You have an extra?
100. This is for you, brother.
I'm flat. Yeah, I will definitely take that because I have been after that.
Done deal.
I love that quick kick. I mean, Beachhead I obviously love, but like that's a really great version of Quick Kick where he's wearing boots.
Yes. So what I want to do is I had somebody send me a link for it's almost just like a black spandex shirt
Mhm.
that I guess will work underneath his vest. And then he would just it would be a soft good. And I haven't said, the guy that recommended it said that he hasn't gotten around to doing it yet, but he's done other quick kicks before or whatever, the body parts. And he said it was good. But yeah, so this is my Psycho Samurai. The whole story that I put behind him was, I'm never gonna remember it often. I made it up one day when we were on live on air, but it was like, he was dating that girl Amber. Remember Amber? Was in that one episode? It turned out she was like the Serana or the Baroness or something like that, and that really like broke his heart. And then he wound up dating another girl, and Cobra killed her in a plot to make him crazy. And so now he's crazy, and it backfired. He's joined Night Force, and he
I think
kicks doors
you
with
should
Shockwave.
trademark that. You should trademark that name, brother. Psycho Samurai.
Psycho Samurai. Oh, maybe
Yeah,
I'll think about that.
cost you under $100, you know, do something with it. You want to make a
Is
comic
that
book?
it?
I know, you want to make a comic book? I know how to do that.
No shit. 100. Well, I am in fact a published writer. It was only just a couple small magazines, but getting back into writing would really be great too. Like that was so when I first started going to school, I thought I was going to be a writer. And then I did, I'm really good at math, so they were like, yeah, you should maybe, talking to it. They tried to, like, guidance counselor said I should probably try to be an engineer. And in the middle of going to the classes, I was like, man, but I still want to write. And then I also took this one hands-on class, and the guy recommended that I seriously find a way to use my hands. And so I was like, okay, I can write and then do like construction work. And unfortunately, writing wasn't making any money, so I stuck with the working. But I always used to keep a notebook and just write stuff down. And I find now that like playing with the toys really starts sparking some of those things. And I would love if I could just sit down and focus on something for, like, even if it was just 3 months of just, even at night, I had enough time over the course of 3 months, I could bust out a call, like I've headcanon so many different things. I feel like in a short amount of time, like the Night Force team of, he's this guy here, the Beachhead, and then the Night Force Beachhead, and then the two I have, or now it's three Wolf Spiders. I call that Strike Team Fangbuster, and they basically are, because in my world, Cobra has been dormant. If actually in my Viper Den Studios on Twitter, if you go all the way down, one of the first things I posted was, I had this idea for a movie, GI Joe Silent Serpents, and the idea was is that, 10 years in the past, they had busted up Cobra. They didn't capture Cobra Commander or Destro. They know they're still out there, but there's been no organization. They don't know where they are. And then General Hawk decides that, well, it's been way too quiet. I'm sending Snake Eyes around the globe to try to hunt down any leads he can to find any traces of Cobra. And then they kind of start to uncover stuff, and they find that they're not really abroad as much as they are now embedded in the United States, where like they're your neighbor. There's something, and they own an apartment building in New York City, and half of the people are actually Cobra Troopers. That. So now Strike Team Fangbuster is focusing on finding these places and trying to break them up and ultimately capture Cobra Commander. And then as they kind of just start looking, it kind of all unravels quick to them. So
Mhm.
I'm sure there's people that have other great stories too. It's nothing super special, but
Oh no, there's all kinds. I mean, that's how this stuff gets made. It's like, I had ideas in my head for Darkwing Duck that I eventually got to do, and it's like one, Frank Aragonis, the guy that did the DuckTales, the DuckTales revival, a few years back. He had said to me at one point, because I said, well, it's all headcanon until, or it's all fan, because someone said something about like, oh, I only write fan fiction. And I said, well, it's all fan fiction until it gets picked up. Like my
right.
stuff in my head was fan fiction until like I got to do it. And
No
and
shit.
Frank said at the end of the day, we're just trying to get major corporations to recognize our fan fiction. That's all any of us are doing.
Yes, yes, yeah, that's true. That's true.
I
100%.
do want to respond to Big Redhead 1982 in the chat, because I typed up a response, and then for whatever reason it didn't allow me to post it.
Oh,
But
okay.
he said Hasbro should release an update Polly where you can have his wings spread out. and I said, we need a SEAL specialist body with shipwreck and torpedo heads, and that would be a great place for a revised poly.
100%. 100%. Definitely think that would be a killer 2-pack. I think it would sell like a motherfucker too. Like, holy hell.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't even have to make it a 2-pack. You could just do a one pack and a single figure pack with the 2 heads to interchange. And then people buy more.
Oh, right. Damn, that's an even better idea. Yeah, I love that. I know that every body's different, but I wish like the heads were a little more interchangeable. Like that you could kind of. I mean, they are interchangeable, but it was a little bit more universal. Because I have no clue which ones fit which. So when I'm like the one thing, I did this. I wanted scrap iron to have an assistant, so I put a bazooka head on. It looks okay. It's not too bad. I want to do so. I feel like scrap iron should look like he does. I'm probably gonna get like a different body altogether and put like I have a couple tripwires. So I'm probably gonna take what I'd love to do is take one of those and dress him up in like a bomb blast suit. So he's like doing the bomb blast shit while scrap iron just mans the little thing setting the missiles up. That was kind of something I wanted to do. And then
on AliExpress, you can get tripwires gear without tripwire.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a Chinese site. It's like basically it's a Chinese bootleg site. What they do is and people say like, well, that's a bootleg, but it's like, it's produced in the same factory with the same materials. It's just all that stuff's made in China. So it's just China running more of them and then selling them, selling like the parts off. But yeah, you can get tripwires gear without having to go through the expense of buying another tripwire, unless you want that tripwire, in which case go for it.
Well, what it was mostly about was the gear. And even though, again, listen, when you're talking about extra stuff that you wanted to customize with, brother, I just got done telling you that I haven't customized the figure, and I have a pile of shit. And that was where I kind of say, I think right around, between Halloween and Thanksgiving, I was like looking back at what had been purchased in the year, and I was like, okay, Christmas is coming. Like, let me see why do I have so much shit? And then it was I realized it was like, oh, because I come across the deal and I can't say no, and I justify it by saying, oh, I'm going to customize it. I'll give it away in a care package, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, but yeah, I have a bunch of the tunnel rat Night Force one because it keeps popping up on Walmart for $10. The gear alone is worth $10. How do I say no to that? Mm-hmm. So I get a bunch of those. Speaking of Walmart,
tell me this: have you picked up the new mainframe yet?
Yes, okay. I got it right here. As a matter of fact,
I have not. Does he use Tunnel Rat's legs? Because I saw somebody saying that he's too short. He uses Tunnel Rats.
You know what? I think so. Hold on a second. Let's see here. So I'm looking at the package, but the webbing is different. But nope, it looks the knee pads look very similar. It's the over the boot cut pants, not tucked in on both the cover of this and hold on, I'll just open it real quick. I have like 100 of these things that just shred through the box. So let's see. Yes, actually I can see some definitive length. Although, no wait, yep. Yes, that looks correct to me.
So I'm gonna have to throw some Tiger Force Recondo legs on him and make him taller.
Okay, all right. Which I'm trying to think. I do have the Tiger Force Recondo. I think that's actually right fucking here. You were literally out of all the shit that I have all over the place, brother. Everything you're mentioning. So that guy right there.
Yeah, I had started a mainframe custom on that body, and then they announced mainframe, but I'll still customize the legs.
Son of a bitch. Okay. Yeah. This is a killer figure. I have a handful of shoots that I have been burning in my mind. And I can't wait to get to, and one of them is going to be Tiger Force Recondo, Tiger Force Outback, paired up with Mad Marauders Low Light and Mad Marauders Spirit. So that fucking Mad Marauders Low Light and Spirit 2-pack was something that I rejected initially because I love the original version so much. I can't see them any other way, especially with that blue and that green. My mind was like, nope, doesn't exist. Not looking at it. Nope. The visual, like covering my eyes like a baby raccoon and everything. And then finally, I just was looking. Somebody did a shoot with the two of them, and it just in the right way. And I went, oh, okay, I have to have that. Those are amazing figures. Like I broke down. I was like, I can't deny it anymore. And yeah, I fell in love with those figures so much that with the day I opened them up, like I got them. Usually I get shit, it sits on the shelf for a while, and then if I'm doing a shoot, it opens up. No, I opened them the day they came and did a shoot that night. Well, it was something simple, but like I had to do it right away. Man, they just look like that spirit figure is so fucking detailed. The face, the I don't know, it's who knows why we exactly like the things we like. I just know when I look at those, I'm like, man, those figures are hit. So that was some very good shit. But to jump back to mainframe real quick, dude, I was shook by taking this out of the package. Now mainframe was one of my favorites when I was a kid. So back in the 80s, computers were a bit more magical than they are now. Right now, I have a computer in my pocket, a computer on my fucking wrist. It's not the same thing. And now communications are a simpler thing. But back then, it was like in my head, without mainframe, there's no communications on the battlefield. They're not communicating with home base. Like if he's not, he was the computer. Like if you didn't have him, nothing was going well. So for whatever reason, in that regard, I always thought he was awesome. He was like one of my favorites. So I was very interested to see how they did it. I don't know what's my favorite part. The fact that there's his secondary, or his laptop attaches to the back of the backpack. They stayed true to the hose by having this extra piece right here, and I think that that's fucking awesome. But then he has separately over on the side that comes out. This is like a giant sat phone, but it has the wire bent over and taped to the side, which it took me a minute. I was like, what is this? And I was like, oh, so that thing across the top is an antenna that is bent over and then tucked into the side so it's not flopping around all over the place. And that just sits right here on the side. And man, I just instantly was like, this is fucking amazing. Oh, and then also on his laptop, which I didn't even know this, it was somebody in Jeremy's Facebook group, The Pit, had said it and was like, oh man, I can't get this fucking thing open. I couldn't believe it. Anyway, it's got on the side, which side is it? It's got a mainframe that actually pulls out of the computer.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, dude. So it's a dope figure. You will be ecstatic when you get it. Dude, this whole wave, I think is like arguably one of Classified's best waves. Sci-fi, mainframe, wetsuit. I mean,
does Sci-Fi does he come with the Pursuit of Cobra helmet where it's a full helmet as well?
It's this, and then it does come with the extra piece that goes over the front.
Yep. Okay, cool. So it makes it because I always like that they did that for Pursuit of Cobra. Did you now were you reading the comics when you were collecting G.I. Joe figures as a kid?
Yes and no. I didn't have access to them that much. So I could there was like literally in my little town, they had baseball card stores all over the place, but sometimes in there they would have like a rack with a couple. I always bought them whenever I could get my hands on them, but I was never got them consistently enough to like follow along, right? I do recall, the Polish Community Center out here used to have comic shows. And so then I would go to those and try to like find there's the that special missions where Shockwave is coming crashing through the window on the cover. Like I knew that existed and I needed to get it. So because I love Shockwave so much. So I would go and buy things like that. I have a couple of the very first issues. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I have issue 2 and then like 8, 10, 11, 14, and then it jumps up past all the expensive ones like 21, 26 and stuff like that. So I guess the short answer is sort of. Unfortunately, I was nowhere near able to get into it in the way that a lot of people did, or my brethren here. That most of them in the comics or in the comments here. A lot of these guys are like my one dude, Conrad Hauser. He is like an encyclopedic knowledge of the comics. It's pretty cool.
No, I go back and forth with him all the time because
nice.
I have the same kind of like encyclopedia like knowledge of the comics. So I was gonna say
that's awesome.
Mainframe has one of the best introductions of any Joe. It's a really good story. It's he and Dusty are on this mission in the desert, and they've got this young kid, and I don't remember what it's one of the made up GI Joe countries, but it's like a Middle Eastern country. So it's this Middle Eastern kid that's going
Yeah.
along with them as this guide, and he's really looking up to Dusty, and he doesn't really think much of Mainframe, because Mainframe, he just sees as this computer guy, and he's like, oh, he's like an old woman, always fussing about, and Dusty's like, I don't think you should, count Mainframe out, and I don't think you know anything about him. But like, there's one point where they're settling down for the night, and Dusty gets up and he goes, I'll be right back, and he leaves, and then you hear a bunch of gunfire over the next hill, and there's an explosion, and Dusty comes back, and he's like, yeah, there were a couple of brigands over there that were set up camp, and we're waiting for us to fall asleep. They were planning to come over and slit our throats and take our take our stuff. And he goes, one of them got bored and lit up a cigarette. And when the wind shifted, I picked up on it. And then he just like leans back and he pulls his helmet over his eyes and he goes, nasty habit, smoking could be downright lethal. And then it shows the kid, and the kid's face is just looking at Dusty like, oh my God, this guy is amazing. But then later in the book, it comes down to Mainframe really having to use, his skills to get them out of a situation. And he's telling the kid's like, we'll fight and blah, blah, blah. And Mainframe's like, there's other ways, to win this that don't involve getting killed, and like ends up doing a bunch of stuff. And then the kid ends up like really realizing that Mainframe's the shit. So it's like, it's this nice little thing. Of course, Mainframe was a character that, much like Snake Eyes and Stalker and Storm Shadow was in Nom, so
Right.
So yeah, he's been a warrior, but when he got out of he got into computers, and now he has another function as well on the team. So it's a really good intro to him. Just like in so my first intro to Beachhead was not on the cartoon, but in the comics, where he shows up in issue 50 of G.I. Joe in the backup special mission story, where they have to take out some plane hijackers. And I just love him because he goes up through the wheel well of the plane, and then he's cutting through the bottom, and he's just like singing to himself, like under his breath, I want to be an airborne ranger. I want to live a life of danger. And then he ends up coming through the floor, and he ends up taking out the female terrorist. And it's all really, really good stuff. And then later he shows up in the issue where Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow are trying to escape from Cobra Island. And, they have to fight off all the sharks and everything.
So did you say that was issue 50 where Beachhead first shows up in the comics?
Mm-hmm.
All right,
yeah, he shows up in special missions.
Okay. Then I'll have to. I'm gonna have to check that out and get and grab that one. I do not have it, and I would love it. No, I had.
Well, actually, maybe he's in like issue 47 is like where he first appears, I think, because it's him and Wetsuit and General Hawk on the Devilfish on the cover.
Oh,
he shows up there, but 50 is where I was really like, this dude is cool. Like, I like this dude.
Well, speaking of that cover that you're talking about with those three guys on the Devilfish, I will be recreating that soon because I was gifted this classified scale Devilfish.
Oh, dude!
My brother CG Horror just recently sent me 4 3D printed things like this that are fucking ridiculous. And this, dude, it's got missiles on the bottom too. The detail on the motors, shit comes off. We can work on it. But first things first, I'm recreating that cover with Hawk, Beachhead, and Wetsuit, especially now that I have Wetsuit. Real quick, I'll show you. I have one of the other things he sent me. Look at this. Ridiculous.
Oh, that's nice. The little pod from the back of the Raven.
That nice drone. Now he sent me an armadillo, but I'm halfway through customizing that. So I'll show that when that's all finished. But this mountain cannon, bro, this is now. Well, so that short fuse Steeler 2-pack, which I love, Steeler, I mean, he's just standing there. He's got no tank. I can put him in the Armadillo when that's ready, maybe. But what I have him doing right now is I have him manning this. My brother Stevie Z hooked me up with a bunch of these little like tablet looking things. So this is Steelers hanging out. I've had a couple grunts behind there, and a Joe Trooper kind of manning, putting sandbags on it, and then loading and unloading the shells, and then it gets fired by Steelers standing there doing the thing. God, something that this is kind of a little bit jumping around, but yeah. So here's Steeler right here. I just got Steeler set up with a whole bunch of shit. I love how his silenced Uzi goes in there, but this right here is I got this backpack. It's a Valaverse backpack that is just ridiculous. There's these 2 4-packs that they have One is green, one is black. This is the black one is backpack set Bravo. So it's that sling pack, and then these three here for like $15. Like you
Yeah.
can't. It's insane. This one, look at this one. It's got a little phone, and then like a little what's the one I'm looking for here? Like a signal grabber, like a big ass antenna. So yeah, there's, and then I got a green set of it too. So if you're ever in the market to like get some really awesome backpacks for like not expensive, I felt like that was such a good deal. So
Yeah, I collected those first 2 waves of Valaverse. I bought a bunch of the like the flying jetpack, like the Hornet looking guys. I bought a bunch of those, and then a bunch of the soldiers. And like I said, I've picked up other ones that I'm customizing into Iron Grenadiers. This is actually one of our custom sculpts from Big Head Studios. Is this Iron Grenadier helmet, which is exactly like the it's done exactly like the original. So like, you know, they released the new classified Iron Grenadiers. The helmets are different. So like for these guys, I wanted to go back to the classic look. So
yeah, dude, you'll have to, if you don't mind, send me a picture of that afterwards, because number one, I don't have my glasses on, and number two, the way that I have it set up is I can see it and how awesome it is, but I want to get a little detail.
And you've seen this already online. Like I haven't finished it, but my work in progress, Big Boa.
Oh yeah, dude, that looks amazing. That looks so awesome.
I felt like Big Boa that they released was just too small for my taste, and so I took I put the gear and our custom Big Boa head sculpt onto a Hercules body from Marvel Legends, and now he's jacked in the way that I want him to be.
Yeah, dude, that's incredible.
Looks like a guy that could actually go toe to toe with Sergeant Slaughter or Roadblock or Gung Ho.
Which is the idea. I don't know. I don't know if you caught any of the Rick Viper stuff, but apparently in our long joke there, Rick Viper took over Cobra training from Big Boa. So I don't know if you've seen that. I am notorious for not looking at my posts before I post them. And I make, typing errors, and sometimes it's just embarrassing. Like first thing in the morning, if I haven't had coffee and my glasses aren't on, I will fuck it up so bad. There will be multiple typos in the same one. I've gotten better, but still, I have to take a minute to check. So one time I made an error where I made a post where I was referring to the Rock Viper, but I misspelled it and it came out Rick Viper. And so then that took on a life of its own, to the degree that my brother Kalel327 has a customized figure. Well, he got like a I think it might have been a Bret Michaels head, and put it on the retro Viper body. He's ordering more stuff. He's never done a custom before, but he's just going with it, because we came up with crazy stories like
I saw some of the stuff you guys are posting with that.
Yeah,
that was pretty funny.
So that's pretty cool. Like I love that shit. I think it's pretty cool, and I encourage everybody to get busy with their own little ideas of things. You know what I mean? Especially with something like that. But also for it to be based on a as Big Red had said, that it was not an error. It was just not a typo. It was the actual birth of Rick Viper. There's no error there at all. So something that I have staring in my face, and I just wanted to pop him up here real quick so I could sort of announce something. I have finally opened my snow job, and last night after I was done snow blowing, it was like 11:15, and I was like, you know what? It is snowing like crazy out there. I'm not going to bring out my 13 snow serpents and try to do a big thing, but I can take this dude out of his package finally and do a little thing. And he is awesome. This backpack where you can put, so these snowshoes actually both will go right on here, so you can legitimately have and the ski poles, there's a separate little slot right down the side here, so everything that he comes with goes on his backpack, and I feel like that should be fucking mandatory, especially when you have this much gear, right? But the poles are amazing. His rifle is super cool. and that just fits in there. Just, I mean, it's just good enough, really. He also, now the shoot I had his head like this, and I'm gonna, spoiler alert, I used real fire. So it's the first time. I've had a couple different ideas in my mind about using real fire, and I finally did it last night, and I cannot wait to. I didn't have time today to edit up the shot, and kind of like I needed to. It was hard to get the shot right in a sense that to have the little fire big enough to light up the area of the figure really well. I was afraid of ruining the figure. It was coming in close. It actually bent the barrel a little bit. I straightened it out and put it in the snow, and it was fine. But yeah.
Mike,
so
Mike, I got to take this call real quick. It should only take a second. So
yeah, no problem.
Entertain, and I'll be right back.
Absolutely, yeah, no problem. Sounds good. What up, y'all? So here we are. I hope you're enjoying the talk here. I reached out to my brother, initially, like I think a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and just had said, hey, because he's got, again, I had heard him make a couple posts about how good he had a new GI Joe, but also I seen him on something. I can't remember what it was, but I was like, oh, I think he would be great in the show, and he was nice enough to kind of hop on. So what is happening, y'all? Let's see. Let me see. Dave Lovelock, what's up, brother? There's Popco Frenzy. Oh, I'm way back here. I got to scroll all the way up. Classified Snow Job is a top 5 contender. So listen, I don't disagree there. This fucking thing is just it's the figure too, right? Just the subtle grays on this, the brown webbing. But that backpack, y'all, that is like this makes me happy for what inevitably will be Blizzard. Now, they can't give this to Blizzard because it won't be right. Like I don't want to get no jive ass Blizzard. I 100% need I need that real deal, if y'all know what I'm talking about there. So, let's see. You know what? I'm going to wait on that. Conrad Hauser in the house. What's up, my brother? You are right. It is a perfect figure. Snow Job is one I regret not buying multiples of. Listen, I wish I had multiples. The only reason I got it is because I was able to chucking and trucking, sold me one at a reasonable price. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. I take that back. He traded me square up for one figure, and I've been trying to slowly give it back a little incrementally. How nice that was. But yeah, dude, this can't be fucked with. It can't be fucked with. So Conrad just joining in. The reason I am showing Snow Job is because I want to announce, without giving it all away, I did a photo shoot. I did a shoot with him last night out in a blizzard, and there may or may not have been real fire involved. So I can't wait to show you guys. I hope in the end, when I post it, it looks as good. I legitimately did not even have time today to try to even just fuck with it. I woke up almost 2 hours late this morning. I don't know what happened. I must have turned my fucking alarm off in the middle of the night. I don't know what happened. But yeah, I had him. I took him outside. Now, ultimately, I want to get down with the snow serpents. I'm going to put them snow serpents up and make a base. I'm going to have the Fort Mod and the bar from Moe's Mind right there. That is going to be a base outside with snow all around, and we're going to have they're mobilizing the troops, and then that is where he comes in, because last night, yeah, careful when I was young, careful in the snow, they can snap. Now, listen, I posed him with the gun already in his hand and everything when I was inside, and I wasn't fucking with it. I was like, that's it. I just set the backpack down. You'll see it. It's yes, no, I was not trying to like adjust him when I got out there. So like I said, I did what I could. I got the pictures that I got. I looked through it and I was like, okay, this might be good. The only problem is, hey, nice. Yeah, I'm still going on about Snow Job
and about your shoot.
Yes, yeah. So it was dope. So my biggest thing is that I remember hearing Matt shooting the Galaxy of Hasbro fame, Matt Cohen. I remember him talking about how he tries to only take as few shots as possible, so it avoids the decision of what fucking picture do I use. And brother, I go through that every time. So that's why I started making just videos where I do use a bunch of the shots. Like I'll just change them slightly. And, but I try to do it where, you know, I have less to choose from, but I just try to make sure I get the right ones. But a problem with where we're outside last night is that, you know, I'm using my phone. So I really, and I was legit in a blizzard. So I have to like get these pictures, and just get out of these elements. And, so I tried to do the best I could. So I had the shot I went for with the fire. I got a bunch of those angles, different, you know, whatever, like ways to try to make it look right. And then I kind of posed him moving like up in the snow, you know, with his gun in the backpack and just looking. He was actually going like this to touch his goggles, and then that started looking like, I was like, oh, this looks really good. I used my flashlight with a little bit of I like covered it like this, so it dimmed the light. It just kind of lit up this little area, and then I started getting all these other shots, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna need a few of these too. I actually had to restart, like put more little sticks into the fire, and I had like this tiny little thimble of gasoline just so I could get the little bit of wood, you know, going, and not, you know, because I'm not gonna sit out there. It would have never worked just trying to light them. So I boop 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 did all that, and I think in the end I'll be happy. I'm really critical of myself when I'm doing that stuff. So I think in the end it'll be good. And it was like a good practice to be out there doing with just one figure. So now when I go to do the 13 Snow Serpents base setting up in the snow, the next time I'll have like a basic idea of, you know, like get everything set up, only go outside, you know, and only do that when you know, when you've got everything ready. But yeah, dude, he is a perfect fucking figure. Just to put a bow on it. He does come with these two alternate heads, so that you could take the glasses off of him, and then this goes over that head that's on there now is like a full head thing with the glasses under there, and then you also get just a head with you know, you could just no white like balaclava style your head covering or whatever it is there.
I put that head on an extra so because I bought a bunch of the Ram cycles when they came out, especially when they got cheap. So I had all these extra breakers. So I took that breaker head off, and I put that snow job head on there because I was just like, when he's just, you know, when he's not on a snow mission, this is just general gear snow job.
Nice. Oh, that's a fucking great idea. Yeah, right. General quarters snow job, just hanging out. You know, he's not in his gear. That's incredible.
Yeah, I've already got a better breaker with the mass device release. So I'm like, that's breaker. You know, this is no longer breaker. You know, so what am I going to do with these bodies?
Yeah. Oh my God. You know what? I think he's on this table somewhere. As a matter of fact. Yeah, I did something with dial tone mainframe and the mass device breaker. It's a really awesome figure. It's like it's one of those things where they just the tone of color that like that I don't know what you would call it, that muted blue gray. Oh, there he is. That muted blue gray or whatever the hell it is. It's just awesome. Like legit awesome. It's one of the, you know, there's a few of them that every once in a while, you know it's going to look good, you know you're going to like it, and but then when you get it out of the package and you like, as soon as you open it up, you're like, oh, holy fuck, wow, okay. That's what Wetsuit did. I audibly said multiple things when I pulled that out of the package. That turquoise or whatever that is, that shit is just like, that shit hits so hard. Oh my God. But the same thing here. Breaker's helmet has got a lot of the black detail all the way around. You know, I absolutely love that. You know, he's got I think Grunt had this vest first, I think. And I don't know. And I think it's just fantastic. The backpack with the little hose that you got there. I mean, and the movable antenna, it looks real sweet. It's the little choices, right? Like it's when they go to make a figure, well, Breaker, we kind of have an idea what Breaker looks like, but you know, ultimately you have to do choice after choice to ultimately those little choices the figure is a sum of its parts. And so sometimes when you break down all the little choices, I just get super impressed because I don't know, I absolutely love that figure. And the dial tone mainframe breaker shoot that I did, it's nothing big. It's just the three of them kind of standing there. The thing is that Breaker was even like bent at the knees and leaning forward a little, and he still looked like he was towering over fucking over poor mainframe.
Mhm.
Paul Morales, what's up, my brother? New York Knight, 1974 is in the house. What's good, my dude? Oh, Rock Lockdown made it. What's up, man? We're talking about that great Python Patrol set that you sent me earlier. That shit, I still unfortunately has not made it out of the package yet. I put the trouble bubble up there, but I haven't put anything else up there yet. I think what I'm going to do is once I get cleaned up, I have that shoot that I did over there on the big table. Once I get that all cleaned up, I think I'm going to take the Python Patrol down and then do like before I did a shoot where they were all kind of standing sort of haphazardly. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to form them in ranks and then have the Battle Armor Cobra Commander like handing over the control of the Python Patrol to the Python Patrol Copperhead. Are you familiar with that very first DIC GI Joe that came out right after the movie?
The DIC, which
Operation Dragonfire, I think it's called. Now, I'm not a huge fan of that DIC, but this particular episode, it shows where Cobra Commander got the battle armor. It shows how they
they bring him back from being a snake, and he turns Serpentor into an iguana, which is why the figure comes with an iguana.
Yes. And then they show how they make Python Patrol and why he gave control to Copperhead. So based on those things alone, I thought it was that one is watchable. But unfortunately, as the more I get into the DIC, it's like while they have a lot of the figures that I loved, it's something about like the voices and
Metalhead's voice is terrible. Terrible.
Objectively the worst. Oh my god.
They make him so uncool.
And which sucks because he's awesome. And like I love the actually, you know what, now that we're talking about it, I think because when we're talking about making a second guy to go hang out with Scrap Iron, and I mentioned Tripwire, I actually bought a Metalhead to actually see, because he's got that bomb collar like right around his neck kind of thing, and I definitely want to see, and he's already like most of the colors, so I feel like if I added some like navy blue to him or something like that. One thing that I would really like to do too is I'm obsessed with like the 788 fire team and the Hiss. Like I just think the Hiss is so fucking awesome. But then when you add the missile system and its own fire team, I just even though I've gotten much more into classified and all the different figures, the idea of them being Cobra's deadliest fucking strike team. You know what I mean? Like they're the absolute worst. I don't know. I'm really super obsessed with it, and I'm about to do a shoot where I think I'm going to use. So now Major Blood, this that just came out with that red. I heard somebody say it. This wasn't my idea. They said, "Oh, he looks like he would lead the fire team," and so boom. I'm now making him head of the fire team, and I can't wait to do. That's one of the shoots that's like a burning desire. I'm going to do that shoot, and I think I'm going to use the Dr. Dre and Ice Cube song "Natural Born Killers." I think that's how I'm just going to have them overrunning a Joe outpost and just like slaughtering everybody. And then there's one particular shot where it's going to be not to ruin it, but Major Blood like looking down. The camera's going to be looking up at Major Blood as he's looking down over the top of like a grunt with like the
gun barrel. Yeah, like you got to get the
gun barrel. Yep. Yep. That's it. So I see
the vision.
Yeah, that's one of those ones that I had an absolute fucking burning desire for. But anyway, so I'm obsessed with the Hiss team. So every once in a while, I'm like, oh, so we have the fire team, and then we have the Techno Viper, right, with the missile system. And I'm like, but I need a Televiper. I need a Hiss. I need a 788 Televiper. I need a 788 Viper. I need like all those troop builder ones. Like I need a 788 version. And then I was like, oh, 788 version Scrap Iron with just like ultimate mech. Because like you see those Hiss missile systems, that's great. So, but let's put Scrap Iron in because I have 3 of them. So let's put Scrap Iron in the middle, and he's telling the Techno Vipers what to do. So that's something else that we'll have to talk about because like a black and red Hiss version of Scrap Iron is something I really
Yeah,
been thinking
let me
about.
let me know. I'm down to do all of it. Like I was sitting here and I was like, oh, I've got a bunch of like custom Joes on the, or I've got a bunch of custom figures on the table that I didn't even realize that were here for this. So like this is I did an old school grunt. Like
Ooh,
so I wanted to I wanted him just in the traditional gear. I love the grunt that they did, but like I also
ooh,
wanted him in like the traditional '80s look. So I did that. That's like a dusty head on a and this is just a stalker body like repainted.
okay,
Uh, and so I did that, and then I did
that's awesome.
before they announced General Hawk. So and before they announced the MMS system, I had done my own old school Hawk that was kind of like the grunt, but with the flat top head and everything.
Okay,
Because,
yeah.
and I'll tell you why I was obsessed with that in a minute. But I also did this version of Hawk later in the comics
Ooh,
in the original Marvel run. He was wearing just a green outfit and like a ball cap, and they never
okay.
made a figure of that, but it was just like what they were doing in the comics at the time. So I kind of made my approximation of that. I wanted a
Huh.
field hawk that looked really good. Gave him the gun and the he's got a cool backpack on, and so I was really dug that. And then just some other weird ones that are here is I'm working on Hunk from Resident Evil because
Oh shit.
my NECA one broke as a lot of the NECA stuff does.
Ugh.
The old NECA stuff, they've got the cheap the cheap joint plastic that breaks over time. So I was like, all right, well, his parts are coming off and getting put on a new figure. And then to go
Right,
along with
right.
that, I'm also working on Albert Wesker. So
Ooh, ooh, I like that.
yeah, and so a lot of these heads, like the Hawk head and the Wesker head here, this is all stuff that we do over at Big Head Studio Customs. So I
Oh,
use
that's
some of those
awesome.
parts. Yeah, so it's like that's how we started out. It was like, well, what do we want to make? And then as we started
Right.
doing it, it's like, well, what do other people want? And you just get into it. And now we've got like well over 1,000 different heads. Like most of our inventory isn't even up online right now. We've got so much more stuff than we've ever shown off.
Oh, no shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you said it earlier, where can that stuff be found?
So on Instagram, just go over to Big Head Studios Customs. We're also it's also over on Facebook, but Instagram is where we're probably more active in showing off stuff.
Okay, okay. Very good. Yeah, just because I'm sure we'll get the boys will be on it. I'm sure they're checking it out right now. That's awesome for sure.
Yeah, for Torpedo, we did custom heads for Shipwreck and Cutter, so that you can put them in the
Oh,
the seal gear.
nice, nice. Ooh, Cutter in the seal gear too. That's fucking awesome. That's great. My dude, GI Joe guy, who this is who I was. That is Conrad, who I was mentioning before. Really enjoys the comics. He's asking. I missed it. What comic was the Hawk from? So I think you're talking about the Hawk that comes with the missile system, like the one that you did. Was he? That one was in the comics, right?
Yeah, I didn't show that one off, but yeah, he was in. So
Oh,
that version of Hawk, the early versions of Hawk were, of course, in like the first, the first 30 or so issues before they ended up putting him in the general gear.
oh, nice. Okay.
The green one that I did comes later in, like when they were doing the Ninja Force stuff. I don't remember the
Okay.
exact issue numbers, but in those Ninja Force issues where Snake Eyes stabs Scarlet, Scarlet looks like a traitor and Snake Eyes stabs her,
Oh shit.
and they do all that whole storyline. That's the kind of the Hawk that I wasn't making an exact representation of it,
Oh,
but I want the
sure.
Hawk that was in that vein.
Nice.
So that was
Nice.
that. But yeah, the reason that I was like obsessed with having Hawk in his original look before the MMS was announced was because I had bought it's like I bought GI Joes, I was buying the figures, and then I started seeing the commercials for the cartoons, and so I picked up a few issues here and
Ah,
there. But where I really got hooked is I bought 14, which was Destro, and then 15, and then 16, which was Night Attack, and that's the one where Cobra Commander has basically brought in Major Blood to kill Destro. Baroness
no shit.
realizes, and so they're both in they're like, so Dr. Venom, Cobra Commander, and Destro are in one HISS tank. Destro's in the turret, and then Baroness is driving another HISS tank with Major Blood in the turret. And so during the skirmish with GI Joe outside of the Treasury, Cobra Commander tells Major Blood, "Now's your chance." So Major Blood swivels his turret around to kill Destro, and Baroness sees what he's aiming at on the screen, and she, pulls the steering wheel and crashes the tank and prevents him from killing Destro. That's when she blows up in the HISS tank and ends up getting horribly burned and ends up having
Right.
surgery later.
Right.
But,
Right.
But the reason, so that was huge, and then the issue stuck with me because it ends with Hawk jumping from the vamp onto the back of a HISS tank. Destro is just absolutely distraught and just like on his knees on the back of the HISS tank because the Baroness is blown up. And
Right.
Hawk just grabs Cobra Commander in the turret and starts wailing on him. like just beating the shit out of him. And then
Nice.
Destro comes out of it, like gets up, and he ends up fighting with Hawk on the back of his tank until Cobra Commander kind of comes to and shoots Hawk 3 times in the back. Hawk falls off the back of his tank. It looks like he hits his head on the way down. Like it's just a really brutal looking panel. And his tank takes off, and then the Vamp pulls up, and Scarlet and Clutch jump out, and she's like, "Hawk, is he?" And Clutch is like, "It doesn't look good." And that's like where they end they kind of like end the issue there. And I was like, from that point on, I was hooked. Like I was like going to make sure that every single issue of G.I. Joe that came out, I made sure I was at the 7-Eleven picking it up. And then
that's what's up.
Luckily later, my uncle was like, "Yeah, you're reading a lot of comic books, huh?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "There's a coin store right next to the aquarium place that we go to buy fish that sells comic books." And I was like, "No, they have comic books in there?" And he's like, "Yeah." And so I went in, I started a pull list, and by then I was into X-Men and Avengers, and like I was, but like G.I. Joe was always that monthly. I can remember one specific time of going to get my pull list, and while they're walking around the fish store, buying fish for the aquarium, I'm reading, like, I think it was G.I. Joe 44, where they introduced Mindbender and the Battle Android Troopers and Mainframe and Mainframe Crankcase. The Mauler, all of that is, it's all like burned into my, they had the pods on their back that break open, the spores come out and wrap up the stuff in plants, just like I remember all of that so vividly. And, and remember where I was, where I bought it, what the experience was reading it.
Yes. I have a handful of those, like just random different ones that involve just random things. Like, I told it before, but I'll definitely tell it again because it's kind of quick. So, I was on vacation with my mother and one of my sisters. My other sister hadn't even been born yet. We went down with my aunt on just a vacation to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And we wound up going to some kind of like a toy store-ish thing because we had to get like beach stuff, like something like, I don't remember what, just like beach toys, whatever we were getting. And I looked over and saw Destro version 2 into the spoiler that I had no idea even existed. Mm-hmm. And so I remember vividly, it was like an out-of-body experience. I was like floating like this towards it, just right across the store, my feet not even moving, just like a witch, just floating right at the shit. And I said, I got to bring this up to my mom, but I remember saying to her, no, they're not selling this in New York. We're never going to see it again. You have to buy me this. And she's like that John Candy meme. Oh, sure. And then she bought it for me too, which is, my mom is great. But no, I very much remember seeing that, which I was convincing because you have to remember, I believed that I was never going to see it again. I never saw this in New York. I go to KB toy stores. I go to Toys R Us. I go to all these places all the time. I beg anybody to take me. And so when I saw it down there and hadn't seen it at home, I was convinced that I was never going to be able to get it again. And so, yeah, that's one of the big ones. I think, memory's fucking weird, but I do think I remember when I first saw G.I. Joes in the store and it was Destro. I remember like looking at, because I did like He-Man, and that's what I collected before G.I. Joe's. I had a few He-Men, and there was a bunch of other, like, it was offline, not anything major, just like other things I kind of remember liking. But I remember seeing that Destro and going, it looked like a real person, but he had the coolest fucking I wouldn't even know how to explain what I thought it was. I just remember looking at that one and being like, what the fuck? And then like looking at the back of the card, and then I don't remember, there was 6 spots, 6 facings, and Destro was on the left-hand side in the middle. And I can't tell you who the other ones were, but I remember seeing that Destro and being like, yo, this is crazy. And so I bought that, and then for my birthday, that year I wound up getting a bunch of different ones. And then I think I posted about the other day, it was in Christmas of '86, where I got the Havoc, the Surveillance Port, Beachhead. I think it was Mainframe that year, but just a bunch of other Joes. Like there's a picture of me sitting underneath the tree with all the shit. Like my aunt had bought me a lot of stuff, and like I had just a lot of stuff at the house. And yeah, dude, after that year in '86, it was just a skyrocket. Like it went from being like something that I thought was cool So I was obsessed, even as a kid, fucking
Yeah,
straight
I
up
remember.
obsessed.
It's funny. I remember vividly. I was the first kid at school to have Storm Shadow. Nobody even knew
Mm,
that he existed. Like we had just GI Joe 21 had just come out, and it was like maybe like
okay.
a month or two later, I think that I found him. But like he had just come out, and we had just all been like, "Who is this ninja in issue 21?" And then I walked into Sears, while my mom was shopping there, and they had him and Rakondo, and it's one of my worst memories of my mother. But it's like just being really manipulative. But I got Storm Shadow, and
Right.
so like at school, I was like, look, I've got Storm Shadow, and everybody was like, what? It's like we're playing GI Joe at recess, and it's because we would all bring our Joes like every day to school, and
Right.
and then I remember when I got Destro, it was there was a store on the way home from my mom's work called Fedco, and my uncle was with us, and we went in, and they had Gung Ho, Destro, and Tripwire and Airborne.
Ooh,
And
nice.
I
Okay.
only had money for two, so I was like, I'm getting Destro and I'm getting Gung Ho. And
Nice.
then my uncle was like, "Well, I'll get you one other one." And I was like, "Oh,
Fuck yeah.
Airborne or Tripwire." But Tripwire had the mine, so he won out. So I got Tripwire. But
Yep.
then
Yep.
the next week, I was visiting my grandmother, and we went to Mervin's, and they had Airborne, so she bought me Airborne. So it was like it was a
Right.
clean sweep of that point in time.
Nice. That's great. That's a fucking perfect memory, dude. I love that. Now that you're saying those ones, I do think Gung Ho was one of those other figures that was with Destro. He was always such a polarizing looking figure, right? Like he's such a cool character that his weird outfit doesn't even get looked at or questioned, right? Like he's just so badass and so awesome that you forget the fact that he's wearing turquoise pants with a jean jacket sleeves cut off that's 3 sizes too small for his body, and it doesn't matter. He's fucking
Well, he was
awesome.
he was part of the Night Attack storyline. That's why I had to get him. I had to get Torpedo. That was the first place that I saw Torpedo, and then of course the cartoon came out, and Torpedo had like a major role because they did the whole sea worms thing, the tube worms for the mass device, and but yeah, I was like I had to have him, and the figure. I remember being a little bit disappointed in the figure because he didn't look as big as in the cartoon, and he had the
Right.
wrong mustache. Because in the cartoon, in the comics, he had a handlebar, and
Oh
on the
yeah.
figure, he just kind of had like a regular mustache. And I remember being really upset that he didn't have the right mustache. And
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And you know what? And that would bother me too, for sure. Like that's that. It's
I still
little
loved
things
him. Still loved him, but like it
for
won't
sure.
bug me.
Well, Classified they did. So I think I have the original. Yeah, because I actually was posing him the other day. I have a big gridiron mech, and I wanted to see how he looked. Because dude, he's enormous, right?
Mhm.
Like we were talking about this the other day. That when you put him next to Roadblock, he's bigger than Roadblock, and that doesn't seem right, right? You know what I mean? Like Roadblock should be twice as big as he is. He's as big as this dude is. But anyway, like they didn't do like it's like okay, fine. We're getting the classified up look, right? This is the mainline release, so it's not going to look retro, right? We got through it, but like, how come they couldn't keep that tattoo right? You know what I mean? Like he
Someone
didn't.
said that like it was like, oh, you have to pay like the Marine Corps for the use of that tattoo because it's trademarked, and I'm like, is that true?
I heard the same thing, and I was like, I don't know. I guess I
I mean, I
don't
know how
know.
licensing works, and I know how that all goes, but I don't know
Right.
if the Marine Corps symbol is like trademarked.
That's, bro, that my feeling was exactly that. I was like, I have an idea of how that works, but for some reason, I don't know. But I mean, dude, I do like the figure itself. They definitely got the handlebar mustache. Did he have a mohawk or was he just bald?
No,
Or he
he
had
was
a buzz
bald.
cut.
No,
He was bald.
always bald underneath. Yeah. So like
Okay.
I didn't love that figure when it came out, and but I did end up buying a couple of them because I made the Reavers for my X-Men collection, Cole, Macon, and
Okay.
Reese. So I used a roadblock for Cole, and then for Macon and Reese, I used 2 different gung hos, and I put different arms on them and parts. So there's like some cybernetics and things like that, and tricked them out. But
oh, nice.
but yeah, like that one and the weird Cobra Island roadblock that we got that looks like like Eric July, like that. Those are different characters to me. They're not the.
Yes, yeah, 100%. Well, my brother Roadblock, who is in the chat here, who is an amazing dude, pillar of our little community there. He's actually like a couple of things I could say about him. He is the actual Roadblock, right? He looks just like Roadblock. There's people that have met him in person, and he's not only a great dude, but like he's like tall and huge like Roadblock. So it's great. But yeah, he took that Cobra Island Roadblock and did just a few things to him, and it actually it works totally cool. Like if you're talking about it being a different character, it's perfect for that. Like because he put like the scarf on him. I think he might somebody. Oh no, it was yes. Roadblock definitely did some, but I think Rock Lockdown. Didn't you put the gung ho vest over his black shirt and then gave him something on the head? And it was a different character, and I thought it looked pretty good.
I love that, and I love that people can do that. That they can kind of customize their own, put their own characters in there, and,
right?
But Dave. Dave Lovelock 4007 in the chat says, funny story. First time I saw the New Wave commercial, I thought they said gun hole instead of gung ho, and I thought the spot on his chest was a wound. Yeah, I had one of those experiences when I was a kid. Like when I first saw Star Wars, I didn't understand why they kept calling Tarkin Grandma Tarkin.
Right.
And I was like, and then later when I found out it was like got one of the books and it was like Grand Moff, and I was like, oh, I don't know what a Moff is, but that's better, I guess.
Oh my God.
Why are they calling this guy Grandma? I don't get it.
I'm trying to catch up in the chat here. It looks like we had some people come in. Matt from Mo's Mind is here. I said what's up to Conrad. Chris from Sister E Arsenal has arrived. Paul Morales, what's up, brother? I feel like there was some. I just scanned back through. I felt like I saw somebody else that I missed. Maybe I did. John Spencer in the house. What's up, my dude? Nice. All right. Sounds good. Yeah, I thought I missed somebody. One figure that I just happened to be here. I just opened this the other day, and that's Heresy. Is this one the Retro Scarlet?
Oh,
it's pretty badass.
Mm-hmm.
That's I obviously expected it to be pretty cool, and but sometimes even seeing it through the package, you'll be like, yeah, man, that looks great. And then once you get it out, and you're just like, wow. So I do like how it came with the different. You could get different the ponytail. You could kind of change that up a little bit, and yeah, man, I don't know. I thought that was pretty cool. Do you have any favorite classifieds? Is there anything that stands out to you? Any ones that you favor?
I mean, I love so many of them. I love the retro Cobra Vipers. Like those are, I like the ones that we got from like the Cobra Island, and I like the 3-pack ones. And to me, they're just like different specialists and things like that. But like I love those retro Cobra Vipers. I was having a lot of fun with those.
Nice.
I'm a big Hawk fan, so that General Hawk figure I absolutely love. And I like the Cover Girl that like the retro Cover Girl is fun, but I like the body for the original Cover Girl. But what I did was I took I got one of the X-Men 97 Emma Frost. I got an extra one of her, and I took one of the extra heads and painted her hair brown and put that on the first Cover Girl that they gave us. And I actually like it a lot more than the head that they gave us.
Huh. No kidding. Yeah, that's interesting. Huh.
Yeah, the Beach is great. The Retro Scarlet is great. I was not a huge fan of the Televipers when I was a kid. I mean, I had one for my squad, but I just didn't like the sculpt very much. But I actually really do like both the one we got with the Trouble Bubble and the retro one. I found this and some Snow Serpents at Ross for $8.99. So I managed to get some of those and build up my army.
Nice. I guess if left to choice, I definitely think I prefer the one that comes with the Trouble Bubble. It just looks more battle ready. It's the same thing I talked about with the Viper and the Bat. Like I love them both, right? I love the retro. As a matter of fact, I have to order another retro one because I wanted to open one, or that might be one of the ones. So my brother Roblox actually has sent me it's a kind of a crazy story. So he sent me the all-time care package, right? There's quite a few things in there that there's I don't want to say it out for everybody. I want to wait till it gets here so I can do it. But he sent it from Phoenix to come all the way up to here, and it got got somehow left Phoenix, and even though the address was right there, the lady typed it into the computer a completely different address than not mine, not his, just this made up one that she came up with. Like it, so, I'll tell you, she put in 12 Whip Circle, right? And that is not even close. Like it doesn't even, it's not phonetically, not numerically, not in any way does it resemble, my address. And like so yeah, I had to spend the other day, trying to figure out what had happened. And then, yeah, they returned it to him because, they were trying to deliver it, and there's, they had it on the street. The guy was like, instead of dropping it on somebody's porch, he did his job and made sure it got sent back. So he did the right thing, and we got it all figured out. So I can't wait to get that package. But anyway, I think one of the ones in there might have been that Televiper, because how I was talking about, having the Trooper, the Retro Viper, and the Retro Bat. I want to add a Televiper to that, and then I want to have that as like that might even wind up becoming my computer desk display, where I just have those ones set up. Right now, I've got the Super 7 Ultimate Snake Eyes with Timber and their bat, right? That's the 7-inch one. And I got them on sale for like $16 a piece from BBTS. I figured that's cheap enough to where if I really don't like it, I can wind up giving it to my nephew or something like that. And at first glance, when I pulled the bat out, it felt heavy and weighted. But then the more that I got into it and looked at it, it was like, it's kind of not that detailed. The plastic feels heavy, but it doesn't feel good for some, like I was like, man, I don't know.
The retro or the regular?
No, I'm talking about for I'm sorry, the Super 7 Ultimates. So they're like the 7-inch scale. I just happened to pick them up because they were on sale at BBTS, literally, I think for like 15 or 16 bucks. And I was like, if they're normally selling for 65, they got to be like decent. Maybe I'm getting a deal here. And I was a little bit disappointed. So that is actually what's on my desk right now, were those. But I think I'm going to give those to my nephew the next time he comes down. I think he's, I asked my kids if they wanted them. They said no, which is fine. My kids like to mess around a little bit. They came down one day, made a list of figures that they wanted to use, drew out a map of how they wanted to put them up to take their own pictures. And I was like, yes, absolutely. Let me know. I was like, there's a couple rules. Let's make sure, if you want to move one of my bigger vehicles, like the Atlas, which I'll show you in a second, let me do that. But, whatever. But, and I was never prouder when my one daughter came down and saw the Alley Viper, picked it up and was like, whoa, he's cool. I was like, do you like that one? And she was like, yes. So she's getting one of those. Well, because they're at an age, dude, I was never prouder. They're at an age where, like, they're too cool for school, right? Like, they're great kids and everything, but like, if I think it's cool, they're kind of like, oh, well, maybe it's not. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's an inevitability that's happening. Actually, we had a little chat in the timeline yesterday. My brother Roblox had brought up, that his kids were they're back in town to hang out, and he wanted to like just hang out with them for a minute. And they were like, "Oh no, wait, we got to go see our friends. We're in town." And he was like, "No." And a lot of us talked about that empty nest syndrome happening, or even when the kids are teenagers and they're in the house, how they're so wrapped up with all their friends and everything. Because as a parent, you spend this period of time like making everything about these kids that it becomes such a part of your identity, when all of a sudden they don't want anything to do with it. It's just, that's some weighted shit. And even though my kids are 11, they are, they've grown and they are like independent on more things. And it is some shit. Yeah. I only mentioned it because we were talking about it last night in the timeline. I applauded Roblox for saying that kind of stuff. Cause there's probably a lot of dudes out there that would just like start talking about stuff like that. And I can imagine it's a big wig for some of the dudes who have watched their kids spread their wings and fly away and everything. So yeah.
Yeah.
I literally already weep, and my kids they're only 11, and I'm already been saying shit to my kids like, listen, the housing market is awful. You might as well just stay here until you can totally buy your own house outright. Until you save up like $500,000, you can stay here. I'll build an addition in the back. Yeah. So
Mhm.
yeah. But anyway, yeah, the retro Cobra Viper is a good call. He is a fan favorite for sure. We did a favorite figure of the year on this show maybe like a month or two ago, and ultimately, so what I did was I told people to give me their top five of the year, and
Oh, this year wetsuit is definitely my number one.
oh, nice. Okay, that's easy breezy for sure. That. Listen, it's hard to say. You can't argue with that, right? Somebody else may have a different choice, but you can't say that. No, that's not the one. I mean, I felt like Mainframe for me was up there this year. I'm trying to think of who the hell I picked. I definitely included the Trench Viper because I think that figure is fucking awesome. I know it's just a simple repaint, but I don't know. I think it looks incredible. It's hard not to say the Retro Viper for this year. Yeah, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to put you on the spot for a
No,
figure
no,
for
not at
the
all.
year. I was trying to think what the hell was I talking about. Oh yeah, we had the figure of the year list, and I had everybody send the top five. And the way that I did it was so like if they say a fifth place vote counts as one, a fourth place vote counts as four, or I'm sorry, two, and then as you got closer, and then all the way up to a first place vote counted as five. And so in the end, all when it was all said and done, the most votes went for Budo for figure of the year, which I thought now wetsuit in this line wasn't out yet, and I probably should have waited till that happened, but it had just come up. We started talking about it in the timeline, so I brought it on there. But Budo wound up getting the most votes with Crystal Ball was up there. And what set off the whole conversation was one day in the timeline, somebody, or no, it was in the chat here. Somebody had come on. I think it was Jay Antonio was like, "Oh yeah, Quick Kick is my favorite of the year, and it's not even close." And I was like, "Really? Huh?" And not that I don't think it's it just was for whatever reason I just hadn't heard anybody else kind of mention it, and I was like, "Oh, well, what else do you think? What does everybody think about their figures of the year?" And it kind of just spiraled into us kind of going after it. But yeah, no, the Viper was the Crystal Ball, the Viper, Quick Kick, and I don't remember who wound up being in fifth, but it was oh man, I'm never gonna remember. Might have been Dial Tone.
Chat,
Might have
can you
been
guys tell me? It's like someone in the chat said something, and it's like it's bugging me now because I can't think of it. Do you guys remember? I think it was during the Rise of Cobra, or maybe it was Pursuit of Cobra. It was basically like that movie line. They had a Cobra dog handler. Can anybody remember what his name is? And just if you see it in the chat, please, because I saw somebody saying they were putting they were building a custom roadblock on the wrestler Omos, and I'm actually using that body to make that Cobra dog handler. But now I can't remember the name of the Cobra dog handler, and it's driving me nuts.
We just talked about this the other day. Shit. Nope. Mark was talking about it the other day. Adder.
Death Adder? No, because Death Adder is a Serpent Society member, right?
Oh, right.
One of my favorite Serpent Society member.
It sounds like that or something. Damn. Well, chat will get us. Chat will get us squared away for a second. Rock Lockdown says my oldest always argues with me over what is a better classified, Alley Viper or the Bat. I'm just happy to have her along for the ride, so I let her in. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. But that's great. I
give it to Alley Viper in that case. As much as I love the Bat, I give it to Alley Viper.
Yeah.
So you can count me on that side.
Nice. Yes. I am definitely Team Alley Viper as well. For sure.
Night Adder. Thank you.
Night Adder. Okay.
Thank you,
What
Charles
did I say?
Rose.
What did I say? Oh, Death Adder.
Death
okay.
Adder. But that's a Serpent Society member from Marvel. And that's my favorite one, who I've also made a custom figure of. So, there you go.
Nice. Very good. But I tell you, and there's a couple figures I'm always thinking that I felt like didn't get enough love. I feel like this Desert Scorpion is one of them because, dude, this figure is no fucking joke. I know I showed it a little while ago, but I got it sitting in front of me, and I got it in this particular pose, and it just looks so dope. I love the backpack with the Predator style photon cannon. Now, my boy Big Red, you said something about this the other day when I mentioned it, and you went into a little more detail, but I just think that is sick as shit. And I love when they do little detail like this on the backpack where you get just a little touch of red on whatever those, what are they, flash
little
guns
bit
or
of
something?
paint. Yep.
All right. And just so I know that the side of his backpack is for this long poking pole, but I actually was able to take the lens from the grappling hook and stick it in that same slot, and you can kind of have that sitting in there too. It's just, yeah, man, it's his face is, it's like the whole, just everything about it is ridiculous. And I mean, honestly, the Scorpion is great. It's not, I don't want to say I could take it or leave it, but like it's every time I want to score one of the figures, I wind up with this. And yo, this isn't small. This takes up like a lot of space and shit. It's but it's pretty cool. I can't. I'm gonna be doing a scene coming up with my brother Jeremy gave me two really cool Valaverse figures. I think I don't know what this guy's name is, but this is the Atlas, and so they're desert adjacent with that tan that they have going on there. So they're actually going to be driving. I have one of those Batman tumblers, and for whatever reason, they came out with a desert camoed one. And so those guys are going to like be cruising through the desert. They're going to run over something that kind of messes up their tires. They get out. All of a sudden, they're confronted by my three snow serpents, desert scorpions. And, the scorpions come, the figures are there. And just as it looks bad, I'm going to have Desert Camo Snake Eyes, who I just got, come out of nowhere and start cutting tails off with his sword and shooting everybody with his fucking Uzi. I can't wait to do that one. That's going to be a good one. Yeah, I've got about a half dozen shots, I'd say, that I just desperately need to get into. It's like burns. Me and my brother Stevie talk about it all the time. That like sometimes I'll be thinking I can, if I have like a newer idea, like that first day or two, I will legitimately have a hard time thinking about anything else. Yeah, I
No, I
coach my
get it.
daughter.
Yeah.
I coach my daughter's basketball team, and there was one practice where like I was like, "Yo, you got to dial into this drill and get the like." I would set up the drill, and they would start going, and then my mind would just drift, and I'm like, "Yeah," because if I turn him this way, he'll be looking up, and that's going to be awesome. And meanwhile, I need to be correcting them on what they're doing wrong, and I'm just in la la land over a couple figures. It's actually it's fucking hysterical. But
I'm that way with like I'll be working on something. I'm like I just want to stop doing this so I could like paint some action figure heads and do some customizing, or I'll be like I'll be thinking about stories and things like that I'm writing in my head while I'm supposed to be doing something else.
right,
It's
right.
just, I can't help it. Like when the creativity's flowing, it's flowing.
Right. Yes. And and it is frustrating where you're like, man, I just wish I had the time to capitalize on that creative juice that's flowing. I try to do my best where I have like a notes app on my phone, and then I have like like a piece of paper, because sometimes it's just having an idea that you can kind of flesh out real quick, wording it, and then so you don't lose that whole moment that I like think of something, because there's sometimes that like I can remember I may have had like how I wanted to shoot it, like I'm visualizing what I want the shot to look like, and if I don't write it down or just put a couple notes on that idea, like I may forget it, lose the essence of it, and when I go to do it, it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't do that.
There's my boy Stevie Z. What's up, my dude? I'm glad you made it. Desert Scorpion reminds me that he would be like Mel Gibson at the beginning of Lethal Weapon, just in a mobile home trailer in the desert, sitting in a lawn chair, drinking soda, looking at the sunset. I mean, I mean, I think Mel Gibson could probably play anything.
I could see Rick Viper sitting the same situation but in the swamp.
Right. Yes. Rick Viper has definitely got that swamp vibe. Something about like I have it in my head, like he's got that black greasy hair, like the Bret Hart. Is it Bret Hart or Bret Michaels? No, Bret Hart. The Bret Hart hairdo that's on that figure looks good, because he notoriously had like that soaking wet Jerry Curl look. Yeah, totally greased out, or like Soul Glow from Coming to America, just like so rich with water. It's ridiculous. So do you I know you're customizing the fingers. Do you ever fuck with like making a little dio or anything like that, or you're just kind of more
I have made some dios. I also have several pieces like in a storage tub of dios that I intend to make.
okay, nice.
So they the name escapes me. Someone in the chat will probably get it right away. But there's a company that makes like these pre-printed diodes, and you can build buildings. Like I've got like a log cabin from them, and I've gotten like a bunch of that stuff. And it's all like pre-printed stuff on like some cardboard. But what I want to do is attach it to some stronger basically a stronger base, and then instead of like the tabs that you put in, I want to do magnets. So I want to build out the diodes that way. But they're really good like pre-printed stuff, so you can make like the inside, like an industrial inside of a building. You can make a lab, you can make a hotel hallway, stuff like that. I want to on sturdier stuff that's all modular, so I can take it apart and put it away, because space is a premium. I live in California, so space is a premium because everything out here is so stupid expensive.
Oh my God.
But like I have so many ideas and things that I want to do, and I want to be able to set up different things at different times. So in my office, I have like a whole like action figure city set up, and then in the corner is Snake Mountain, which doesn't really make a lot of sense, but I just don't want to put the Snake Mountain away because I love it so much.
Right. I know that feeling.
I want to get into building different things. Like what I would like to do is I would like to eventually get a place where I have a big garage, and in that garage I want to build out the city, but I want to have levels. So I want to have, here's a cityscape, and then down below that on the next level is a subway train. So do like some subway tracks and a subway station. And then below that, Ninja Turtle sewers, or just sewers in general, but the turtles can be down there. Killer Croc can be down there. Batman can go down there to find Killer Croc, whatever. But I just want to have like multiple levels. And then, for G.I. Joe, I want to have like at least like a big Cobra Island setup that maybe can also double as the Savage Land if I move a few parts around, just like different things like that, which would be a lot of fun. That's been my dream for a long, long time, and I've been working towards it. So,
bro, I can't tell you enough how what you just said is in a parallel world with what I have said before. So, like what I had said was I wanted to have a Cobra Island. Like if it was, say, straight behind me, like on this side, I have Cobra Island. It'd be the face of the mountain, right? And then behind it would be like armory and like a lab, right? And then coming across, and then from there, it would be like you'd be looking at it turning up into like a field, which would turn into like almost like a forest, and then have the forest turns more into a jungle, and then even hitting like a winter area, and then slowly turning into on the other side like a G.I. Joe base. So on each end you have Joe's over here, Cobra's over here, and in the middle you have to go through all the environments, right? Ultimately that's yeah. But dude, how you had it was like going down through like the Ninja Turtle all the way to the sewers and shit. That's fucking awesome. And when you have it built on the wall like that, not only can you step back and take big, you could take a couple figures and put them right up there and make a shot. So that's my biggest issue, is that like even if I just want to take two figures and do a shot, because like I'm crazy, I can't just put them on my table and take a picture. I don't know why. I have to do something, right? And so even setting up the most basic stuff takes so long. Like I'm sure you with doing anything like this, it's actually more time consuming than you want. Now, what you also talked about there with the modular abilities for the diodes is I had been racking my brain and saying, was there a feasible way that I could make something for my brothers, right? Like I had this, and with magnets is where the overlap came, is because I was like, maybe I could make with this foam, right? Because they make it's this insulation foam that I get that is very rigid, right? But it's easily manipulated. If magnets in there, it would be able to stand up with each other and snap. Like one of the ideas was my dude Commander Unicron wanted a hanger for his Rattler, which obviously would be pretty big given the Rattler is fucking enormous, right? It would be big, but what he wanted was he lives down in New York City, so I could drive it down to him. And what we talked about was basically making it so he could set it up, play with it with the grandkids, and collapse it and put it away like into a closet. And so that there may be coming a time when I'm trying to put that motherfucker together. You know what I mean?
That's the way to go. Oh, did I lose you?
Oop! Oh shit!
You're frozen on my screen. I might be frozen on yours.
Oh, hold on. I don't know what happened there. Oh, there we go. Well, mine went on to loading as well, so I'm not sure what happened.
No, I'm still good. But actually, I mean, this has been a lot of
Oh,
fun. I've
there we
actually
go.
got to, I've actually,
Nice.
I guess that's a sign
Yeah,
because
I don't know.
I've actually got to get going. But this has been fun. Let's do this again.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Yeah,
Thanks to everybody in the chat.
absolutely, brother. We definitely will. Thank you so much for coming on. I'll go over again what else you have going on, and let people know where to look, and I will see you in those Twitter streets, my friend.
All right, man. I will see you guys later. Thank you so much for letting me come on and talk about Joe's. I love it.
Oh,
All
no,
right,
it was my pleasure, dude. Definitely. Open door.
All right, will do.
Thanks, brother. All right. So here we go. We are back. I hope everybody is having fun. Yes, Aaron definitely said that he had about a 2 hour window, and I know he hit that. He had something that was going on. So yeah. My dude is a mover and shaker. He's a busy man. I'm really happy he came on. And I thought that was awesome. I hope you guys. So what did you guys think? He's fucking cool, right? Yeah, that shit worked for me. And yeah, so the dude, if you didn't hear it in the beginning, he's worked on things for Disney, Pixar, HBO, was instrumental in getting that Darkwing Duck pulled out of the whatchamacallit and the archives, and getting it going. So I'm actually looking around because I thought I brought I thought I brought a sweatshirt with me. And it is chilly as hell down here. Yeah, that was great. That was great. Thank you all for holding it down in the chat. Really appreciate it. And yeah, I can foresee having him back on again, because dude is definitely a killer customizer. And I definitely, because again, if you're kind of just joining us and you missed that part in the beginning, Aaron, I had put something out. My boy Chuckin' and Truckin' was looking for somebody to possibly paint a stinger for him. And so, not knowing, like, right off the rip, I think at the time, I don't know if I knew Jay Antonio was doing the customs. I probably would have just said him, but I put it out on the timeline where I was like, hey, looking for who does customs out here, and Aaron stuck up his hand, and the next thing you know, we were into it. So that was fucking awesome. He just wanted to pause at his best angle. Nice to meet you, Aaron. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, so yeah, that's what I was actually starting to say there. So Stevie Z, your most recent amazing photo shoot, right? That's how you got all them pieces together. Nice. Boop, boop, boop. So, one of the things that we were talking about, that I was saying in the chat, hold on, let me move a few things around here, is that I just recently picked up this. So very excited. I'm gonna open this in a minute. I might actually take a bathroom break. Let's see. Ooh. Okay. So, all right, let's, I am going to, I already talked about a bunch of shit. I am going to open up this heavy duty, and we are going to take a look at it. I think I might even pull out some stuff to look over. Good. Oh, that was, oh man, you know what? I am a very discombobulated person, and I think that, let's see if I can remember. Yes. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I had the winners of the contest, and I think I'm having the worst time trying to remember who they were. But if I start thinking about it, I will know in a second. Yeah, actually, two of them I remember because they're dudes, and the other one was, okay, there we go. That's the 50 figure. Okay, so Pop Cult Frenzy in the house. My brother was incredibly generous and donated three $50 gift cards to what was our basic holiday giveaway. And I mean, that is just incredibly generous, and I couldn't thank him enough. I pulled these names almost over like a week ago, and every time I wanted to come on and make a big production out of it, I just couldn't. I didn't have time. So unfortunately, I'm just getting around to it now. But this will help people post Christmas, extra money. You get a figure. Everybody's happy. So I forgot. Okay, so the first person I'm going to mention, I actually should have hit him up earlier and let him know, and maybe he would have tuned in. But anyway, I did it ass backwards. I can let them all know after. So the first winner of it's a $50 gift card and a figure, is our brother Jeremy Kimberlin at Lost Kimber. Jeremy is the one that runs the Facebook group. He got in on the action. I was kind of people that had donated. I was adding their names to this too because it just seemed like appropriate. So the first one that I pulled out is our brother Jeremy. He gets that Amazon $50 code. I'll be sending that to him tonight as soon as we get off. Jeremy, if you happen to be watching, brother, congratulations. I'm glad that you won. That's it. Yes, Jeremiah. Okay, so the second person that is in on the action is, I'm trying to think of, I don't know what his actual name is, but he is Berserker Chicken. He's been, following along. He's commented. I've noticed him a couple of times. I think I actually spoke to him. Offline maybe once or twice, but he is in there. He was entered in the contest, and our dude has won. That is Berserker Chicken. And last but not least, which it makes me happy when it's like, they're all people I know, but it's cool when I give it out. So the last one goes to our brother Stevie Z. Stevie, congratulations, my dude. You're getting a $50 gift card to Amazon, and I'm sending you a figure. So boom, that's going to be great. Somebody asked the other day, what did they say? They were like, "Oh, do I have to spend the $50 on gift cards?" I was like, "Oh, no, 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 that's not how it works." But Stevie, I hope you're still there, brother. I also have 3. Where is it? I have 3 $25 war bond cards from our friends at TV Cobra. Who actually, I feel like, you know what? I thought I reached out to them earlier. Maybe I did not. But yeah, the lovely people over there at TV Cobra. So happy that they got that Kickstarter funded and things are good to go. I am as soon to be all right, brother. Well, hey, listen, that's cool, but just wanted to, make sure that you knew. So yeah, Stevie, I will. What it is that, and if anybody, Berserker Chicken's here or Jeremy, Pop has already sent me the codes for the gift cards. I will send that to you later, brother. That's 50 for you to do what you wish with. It's really a nice, cool little after Christmas, pre-New Year type giveaway. And again, I cannot thank Pop enough. That is incredibly generous from a guy who is consistently on our timeline doing us good by that amount of effort. Now, I don't know if he's got like a streamlined process or how he gets that done, but in my mind, that ain't no easy thing to do. My dude is out there just crushing it all the time. So I can't thank you enough for making it work, Pop. And so thank you. I mean, really, I have a couple like Troop Builder figures that I'm going to throw out here, but $50 3 times over is an incredibly nice thing to donate. So I am going to do. I don't know if I want to do. All right, you know what? Let's see. I knew that he was only going to stay for 2 hours, and then I didn't make notes. But yeah, no, that was freaking awesome. I'm so glad, Aaron. I've asked some people recently to be on. There's some people that I'm close with that we're gonna try to work it out. Stevie, like I'm trying to get Stevie on. I think what we'll do is, I think one of these days I'll have Jay Antonio I'll ask him if he wants to pop on for like 25 minutes or so, just so we can kind of talk and promote the whatchamacallit. Yep, thanks, Bob. I finally got my hawk, but if you have a link for polar bear, snake eyes, send the link. That might be where that Amazon goes. I keep putting him off. Oh, Stevie, you're gonna love that shit. First of all, I haven't done enough with that snake eyes. I need to get that snake eyes out, and I need to take some photos of that dude. Yeah, man. There's some shit. I'm so blessed to have as much as I do, but I really just like I still have, like, I was looking at this. I haven't even opened this yet. Like, there's shit that just goes so far back that I'm like, man, I really got to open up these and, start taking pictures of all this stuff. I could easily post a Joe a day for like a fucking while, and I wouldn't have any overlap. Let's see, what do we got here? All right, y'all. You're gonna give me just 1 second to run over and use the bathroom. I'll be right back. All right. Thank you so much, y'all, for always putting up with my lack of professionalism with this shit. So thank you so much. So real quick, why I'm gonna start opening this heavy duty. What did I just do with that fucking thing? Wow, what are you kidding? Oh, there it is. All right. So this week has been a really good time. Oh, you know what? I went all this time. I don't even think that I guess I have zero luck with Ross in my area. Oh yeah, I don't even try Ross this year. Anyway, you know what? I saw there was a fucking torch in my Walmart today. They had like 3 of them. I couldn't believe it. All right, Dave. Hey, thanks for swinging through, bro. I really appreciate it. You're always here throwing down hard in the comments, and we love that. So yeah, thank you for coming through, my dude. I appreciate your engagement. Have a good night, brother. I didn't even try Ross this year. Yeah, so I have ollies, and I have swung in there, and have not seen a single thing yet. What did I see there? Oh, those like 9-inch non-articulating. There was a Cobra Commander, and that was it. Is this Cobra Commander? Oh, and a Roadblock. I sent that to our brother Roadblock. All right, so here we are. Let me see what I can do here. I have so much stuff on this bench in front of me, but we are gonna see. Let me go like this. There we go. How's that look, y'all? Can y'all see that good? All right. So I think that he can hold these on his own, right? Which I think is pretty cool. Actually really kind of digging it. Yeah, I think they come out of the front here. He's holding on to it, but these will go on the sides of the whole thing. Let me get the figure himself out, right? This is, first of all, if you don't know, this is chock full of shit. Let's see what we got here. I got to try to keep up with these comments too. All right, so now I have to admit, one of the reasons I got this thing that set me off to give it a shot was I saw a picture of the figure without the big thing on it, right? Looks like Commando. It does, my brother. It very much reminds me of that. That's why I like Salvo so much. But yeah, so first of all, this figure is awesome. He's huge. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna put him up next to. So just to give you an idea. Oh wow. Okay, it's not. All right, so just look at how much. Gung Ho is so thick. It's crazy. He's almost like a size up. I feel like in a way. Yeah. So, but this is dope. This is a dope figure. I mean, I think it's pretty accurate to how he looked, right? You know me. I'm more for the fully, full like regular military type stuff. But let's get right to it. Let's get to the thing at hand. Now, the one thing that I am digging about this right now is this does feel a lot like when I was a kid and you had to put something together. Like I am feeling very. It's hitting. I have to admit, it's hitting. Because when I was a kid, this would have really been like right up there. Gung Ho is yoked, bro. He's huge. He's so fucking big. It's crazy ridiculous. All right, so there's like one little side cannon. Here's these are straight up Gatling guns. That's crazy. All right, so the rest of this stuff, the knives, the blast effects, I'm gonna leave all that in there for now. I'm just gonna try to get this system. So there's also a belt. So there is something that's belt fed. I like the way that looks. Oh, that's what that is. So he's got earmuffs, which makes sense, right? When you literally have an entire fucking tank transporter full of fucking shit. All right, so this goes on over like that. Okay. Now I do like the scar effects. That's pretty cool. Yep. Conrad got me watching Renegades again, and Heavy Duty's episode was great. Oh, nice. Yo, listen, Conrad does, I talk about everybody else, Conrad does this a daily service, y'all, by making sure that we got that hot shit in our timeline. And it does, in fact, often inspire me to go look at or watch something. So I have to agree that, Conrad is the man. So let's see. Is this just goes? You shove him down in there like that, or do you gotta open? Oh, okay. Here we go. So there we go. I hope you guys can see. You just got to get that in the back. All right. Well, that kind of goes surprisingly well together. So far. Now I'm trying to get his head in there. Okay. She is bulky. It doesn't. Okay. It doesn't look as fucking weird as it did in the pictures. I am struggling a little bit to get his fucking hands on it. I don't know. It's got to push it out more. That at this point, it looks like he's holding it way up in the air. And his hands are stiff and these, okay. Oh, that thing. Okay. Well, that's why. So the handles rotate. The actual joystick on each side, it swivels, obviously, to get like the best possible way. So it's my enormous crappy. Yeah, I'm just struggling a little bit. His hands are super small, and the ability for those things to move is good, but it's making it like super difficult for me to just get it to jam in there. Okay, I'm gonna kind of move on from the hands real quick. We're just gonna go like this and like this. Yeah, see, like I feel like I'm breaking motherfucker's arm trying to squeeze it in there. I'm sorry, this is probably terrible. Yeah, listen, I know you guys are talking about them ollies. I love seeing the people get it. My brother Roblox got a real good score. I think also the other gentleman from that same area, our dude Duke's Retro, I think he wound up catching a few. Oh, there we go. So I just had to take a break for a second and not look at it. Now I'm trying to squeeze that to close that as much as I can, right? Because he's got his hands on them joysticks. It's actually solid. It ain't loose. I kind of feel, I like the way that feels. So now I think the missiles go on the bottom. I think that's forward, right? Hold on, let me look at the box. How do the missiles go? Yep, small thing to the front. So these go on like this. Wait, they go on the bottom or the top? Yep, they go on here. Kind of, I don't know. I feel like, again, there's so many parts to like stuff that I feel like I'm fucking breaking it. Like that right there. Like, oh man, I am pushing so fucking hard on that. You know, why do I have to feel like I'm breaking it to get it to work? Like it's a little ball pop. There we go. Good Lord. Holy hell. I have a feeling I am going to be using these to put in other people's hands. Like I'm looking at real quick, talk about getting sidetracked. This is Steeler. And boy, does he look right using something like that. I do want the rocket launcher. Yeah, Chris, right? How dope is that? Now, I wonder, now that you're saying that, Chris, I wonder if you can get that right off of eBay or something. I passed on this dude. Hold on, just so I could see, due to the deluxe price, and I had no interest in the big harness. So, Chris, I was the same way. I passed on him for the same reason. I just thought it looked a little wild. I wasn't sure why we needed it, right? I was just like, what is the big deal? And then I was over at my local Walmart, and I don't know if it was an error, but it was on sale for very little money, and I was like, you know what? At this price, I'm going to give it a whirl. Because the thing is, the figure himself is dope. And I got to be honest, for a big ass rig, it's really kind of sturdy. And well, I just had him standing up. It was standing up pretty good. Let me just think. What am I looking at here? I keep having to look at the package to see where everything goes. All right. So these two little cannons are the same type of shit. Let's see. Do they have? All right. There we go. Nice loud pop. Yeah, the big harnesses, you know, it even for me, I was like, I don't really want that. But you know, there is a price where everything all of a sudden becomes, you know what? That price, maybe I do want to give it a shot. Plus, I figured I could get it's funny you mentioned that, Chris, the actual rocket launchers, because that's how I felt. I was like, oh, I can get the rocket launcher, you know, on sale and everything like that. I don't know what the hell this fucking thing is or where that goes on to. Let me see if I don't see it in the picture. Oh, okay. Right under the front. So this attaches onto here. Sorry, y'all, I'm trying to give you the best view. So this just looks like it's some kind of piece to the front here. I don't really know what the hell it's supposed to do, but it definitely is supposed to clip on like that. All right. And then it is belt fed, but I don't know what it's belt feeding. It looks like it's going up into the bottom of these miniguns, but I don't see where. So I think, you see what I'm saying? I got the belt. This is the belt fed. It's the same thing that the Saw Viper comes with, right? And it looks like I can come through here, and that they're supposed to, on each side, wrap up into here, which I got to admit is fucking cool. Oh, all right. So I think I might have it upside down because I think it's supposed to go into the bottom. So there is the actual, let's see. I might just barely get it in there. And in which case it might look good because who wants it to be, you know, flapping all over the place. So yeah, there we go. All right. All right. Sound like Steve Irwin. Oh, all right. And so can you stick the missiles in here alone? Will they stay? So, all right. See as how. Figure looks cool. Chris from Sis3 Arsenal. Figure looks cool. I have not. Oh man, my eyes are so bad. I have not seen a Joe figure at Walmart in almost 2 years, not a single one. Well, check it, brother. So I had here, I can lift this up now. So my in-person live experience, Chris, is nice rock, nice codpiece. Yeah, I know, right? I had seen zero for the absolute longest time. Now I had been hunting for a few. Again, I'm only been collecting this year, but I was hunting and I was going to all kinds of WalMarts and all kinds of Targets and everything, and I just never. And I got to swap these guns at the top. I never saw any anywhere, with the exception of I was in one Walmart and I saw it was a retro Duke, but it was so fucking mangled that the figure, I'm trying to remember what was broken on the figure, but there was 100% something broken on the figure, like the hand or the wrist or right in that area or something was fucked up, and the packaging was so bad that they had tape all over it, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to buy that. And I even asked, it wasn't even a reduced price. I was like, oh, if it's like $5, maybe I'll buy it just to, I can use it for pieces on other things. But nope, that was the only one I had saw. And I'm talking about, I got to the point where I was actively like really looking like, man, why can't I have Joe's? Like, what the hell is going on here? And then, yeah, I started looking all over, and let's see, all of a sudden I went into the Target up one of the Targets by my house, and the guy was like, I was looking for the breakers. I had a breaker on order, but I wanted another one, and I was like, all right. I remember going in there and talking to the dude. He's like, yeah, all this shit's in the back. And I was like, well, can't you just bring it out? And he's like, I won't get into the ridiculousness that this dude was saying, but anyway, I wound up coming back the next day. They hadn't been pulled out, and then I went back the day after that, and I was really looking for this breaker, and I was walking back, and I turned the corner, and you could see that because there was 4 spots that the Joes were coming in. It was breaker. I think they were bringing in retro Vipers and like 2 other things. But anyway, I turned the corner and I went, oh, and I literally hit, like I've said before, it was just like, it was ridiculous. It was like the most hyper reactive thing, dude. Is like, I think what I've said before is it was like banging 7-gram rocks with like Charlie Sheen. Like that shit was like, yo, oh my God, I can't believe there was that breaker. I snatched it up real quick, and I didn't even look. Like, I actually bolted for the checkout so fast that I had to stop, go back, and was like, dude, was there anything else? Like, I just grabbed the breaker and I ran like somebody was going to try to stop me with it. And so I did. I stopped myself, and then I went back. I looked around, and I think I found 2 of the Cobra Vipers like off the peg and just like down the way, or the Trooper. I'm sorry, the retro Cobra Trooper. And at the time, I didn't have any of them, and I wasn't sure if I was going to get them, so I passed on it. And that was the very first time I saw a GI Joe classified in a store, Chris. I hadn't seen them anywhere. Now, the Walmart right by my house, man, the only thing I have down here to drink is fucking coffee. Now, the Walmart right by my house, which happens to be the biggest Walmart in the world, in case you didn't know that, yeah, it's a Washington Ave Extension Walmart that's right around here. It's 2 floors. There is an escalator going up and down, and in between the 2 escalators, they have a thing you could put your cart on, and it'll bring it up for you. It's crazy. So there's one side up, one side down, and then in between the 2 there's a thing for the carts. It's wild. But yeah, so that one got the display, right? Everybody saw that big, it was like a jungle diorama looking thing, and it had like Duke, Redondo, Scarlet, and somebody else in there. Anyway, they were stocked up right off the rip. They had Stingers. They actually had the Transformers the crossover Triple T. They had that there. Retro Troopers. They had Vipers at first. They had like Blowtorch, and Beachhead Night Force Quick Kick. That was the one that I actually saw there first on that first day, and that's where I got mine from. But yeah, so that shit was awesome. Yeah, that was pretty cool to see them all there like that. And then now they've had now they did take, the Dio was still up when was it still up today? I thought the Dio was down. I'll have to double check. I think they took that Dio piece down, and then they just kind of they refilled it with like Frag Vipers, Blowtorch, Torch. There was 3 Torch, right? How crazy. They had police officers, and it didn't hit me until I walked away, but they were on a peg for $24.99. And when I looked, I don't know what happened. I was like, what's 24? And I was like, really? I thought they were all, I should go back there because I think they had police officers for $24.99. So yeah, no shit. But does it have a Subway and a McDonald's? I don't think it's got a Mickey D's, but I think there is a Subway on the first floor, perhaps. I put the miniguns in the bottom and the rocket launchers on the shoulders just to be difficult. Oh, Rock, I gotta be honest with you. I think that's what I would prefer here. I mean, I know. So yeah, actually, I put this down and just started talking about. So yeah, no, I am very much like I love seeing it in person. So I have and that same Target with the breaker, I have since seen, the basics. I think I saw Grim Vipers there. And that was it. Also at Walmart, they had a bunch of Scorpions, Ghost Vipers. I bought and sold a bunch of Ghost Vipers. Desert Scorpions, Ghost Vipers. They had the Falcon Coral Night Force 2-pack and the Spirit Lowlight. Now they've sold most of it. None of it's gone on sale, like super sales, except for this. I think that this was mislabeled. So listen, I gotta be honest. I didn't want to like it because I just was like, I had decided that it was just too much. And I love that I have it now. I don't know if I want to, if getting a deal on it is really where it's at. But I'm gonna be, if they could just do something like, here's where it looks ridiculous, is his legs, right? This is so wide here, and then it's just these little legs that I know you got to suspend disbelief, but it was probably a Christmas return. They usually mark those down. Yeah, that could be it. No one could ever wear that in combat. Yeah. Chris, listen, I totally agree, brother. I couldn't agree more. You know what I feel like? I feel like this is something I could like make around, like if there was something that was underneath, right? Like a piece of metal that it sits on. So he's not like wearing it metal, but he's on a turret that moves back and forth, right? This is more like something that guards, like I'll put it on top of the outpost, right? I'll take some shit like this. I'll build something on the top of this that holds him up, and it can slide him around so he can defend the outpost from the top or some shit like that. Yeah, but no, I can't in good faith have him walking around. Like, look at how just silly that looks with those legs just kind of sticking out like that. It's just too much. Dude is made to fight xenomorphs. Yeah, Rock, you ain't lying. That's a good one. He's carrying groceries. Right? This is me not going out for a second trip for the groceries. This is me coming in with all the groceries. But the minigun's got a cool little bit of movement, right? Which would be good for the xenomorphs because it can just track side by side. You've got these massive cannons in the front, big damage. But then you've got these missiles. So, I mean, dude, it is a one-man motherfucking army. It is absurd. And I still stand by, I wish they had done something slightly different. For sure, but since I got the reduced price on it, I'm happy that I got it for that. But I still, like Chris, if you're on the fence, I wouldn't buy it unless you got a deal, right? Like I don't think you would be. I wouldn't be as happy if I bought it for full price because it's just silly. You know what I mean? It's just absurd. Here, I'm gonna take all this stuff out, put this in a bag. So, but I do like that I have it. I'm happy I have the figure. And again, if I had some more time, I would be out there this weekend trying to make something for you know, to put him up on the top where he can just like slide around, because it makes a perfect system in that regard. Where like if he was like a missile, even in just even a checkpoint, right, to get into like a Joe base, if you had something out there like that could like move around a little bit, and like if you got something rogue heading for your outpost fence, you could just blow it up. I could see that as the upper for the gridiron mech legs. Right. Listen, Matt, if that's something that you think, or Chris, if that's something you guys thought you could do, I mean the figure's been out for like a minute. I don't know if it was like a huge seller, but and I know you probably have to have a lot of interest at first, but man, that shit would be awesome if there was just something. Like, I don't even know what you would do or how you would bring it like down to the ground that it could move, or if it was mech legs, bro, or mech or like tank treads, like just something, you know what I mean? Like, imagine if he just, even if like something came down the side, right, and then underneath him was just like these tank, like his feet went into something that had tank treads, so he's not walking, he's just like moving around. He's being moved around by that or something. I don't know, but yeah, like Chris, this is I echoed your sentiment about just like, yo, this is ridiculous, and I just can't do it. And but I always said if I found a deal. Now, Pop Cult Frenzy had him out on his deal that had it on today. What was it, 29? So that I gotta be honest, I'm trying to remember what it is that I paid for this. I'll have to go look at the receipt, because I feel like it was. I think I want to say, the number I want to say, I think is less than what I paid. So I'm just not going to say anything, but it was less than $20. Yeah, it does look cooler than you think. I could use that for an upper on the gridiron mech legs. Well, so I got this one, right? And so, I mean, I could very much see, because these has, I don't think I can get this. Oh, I got to take that whole. Well, okay. So this is the one that's it. You can walk on it. So we're almost there. It's just a matter of having something to kind of connect it like that. But yeah, dude, Matt, you're on it. Like, even if he just went, like the legs were out wider and his body just sat right down in it, and then he was just right on it. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. I actually like that a lot. I love these M packs, the bigger heads. They're fucking sweet. There we go. Yeah, I as much as I love having the gun on the top, I like it more. It looks like Ed 209 like this without the thing on it. And it's kind of nice. Everybody remember Ed 209, right? I know y'all remember who that is. So yeah, there it is, y'all. Heavy duty, better than expected, and the bar, it's not like the bar was set super high. I really didn't know what this was gonna, how I was gonna like it. I knew I didn't want it in the first place, so I was worried, but for this cost, the extras, I felt like it was worth the shot. And yeah, so if you're on the fence, wait for it to be on sale. He just needs to toss that shit and jump in the armadillo. Yeah, right. I'm sure you could design an adapter. I mean, yeah, you saw it. I could draw something up, but my brothers here are the ones. Wasn't there one for the trouble bubble? Yes, they had legs for the trouble bubble. Yep. Is it Marvel Legends built a flag that has tank treads for legs? Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about there. I want to like him. If you cover his legs, it looks cool. Yeah, Matt, same. You're right. I could use that as an, yeah. Okay, so I think we're on that there. It's making me frustrated every time I cover. It's like, oh no, for real. You're right, because that's what the problem is his little teeny legs. I'll be hitting the hay. I have Saturdays off starting mid-January, so I should be able to hang out the whole show. Everybody have a good weekend. Hey, Stevie Z, I'll text you tomorrow with that info of your gift card. You get to the spending, brother. Thank you so much for coming. And you're knocking it out of the park these days, bro. I love it. I love it. And I'm gonna show off your shit in a second here. Sorry, I didn't do it sooner. He needs like chum thighs. I know, right? Even like even if it was something he just something he just slid into, kind of like the armadillo. So now I'm not going to show you, but I think Stevie was actually onto something there. Hold on one second. Because of the way this armadillo is set up, it is a shallow well and not a spot for a leg. So I had already been exploring how I was going to alter this. Now I know everything I'm doing off camera. This is probably annoying as fuck, but forgive me. Oh, it fits. Well, problem solved. He fits perfectly into Armadillo. The rocket launchers sit on each side. Jesus, that's almost, he's like made for that. Holy fuck. Oh, well, yep, I can't show you, sorry, but that's going to be really exciting. I know that was probably annoying that I did that, but okay. Now I'm going to have to double time it on that armadillo and really make it happen quick, because he fits right in the armadillo perfect, to the degree that you see, like right here, this space that's on each side, it goes directly in there, like boop, right onto it. And yeah. Boy, I can't, CG is going to be tickled about that. That is ridiculous. So, okay. I'm going to have to hurry up and get that one taken care of. Yeah, if anybody's watching and you're like, what is he talking about? My brother, CG Horror, printed 4 classified scale vehicles, and he sent them to me. I think, he originally made them for himself, and one day he was just like, hey, man, I think, you would get better use of these, put them in dios and stuff. I want you to have them, which is incredibly generous of him. And he sent me, I showed Aaron earlier, the Devilfish, the Night Raven drone, the Mountain Cannon, and the Armadillo. Now, you all have seen the first 3, but the last one, the Armadillo, I started customizing and weathering and doing some stuff to it, and I didn't want to show you guys until it's all finished. So you'll have to wait for that. But now that I just saw that heavy duty is there, that's gonna have to be something. So I showed this real quick earlier, but I took it off because homeboy had a pew pew in his hand. But I have been getting, I think I showed these off. I got these awesome freaking Valaverse backpacks. Now, when you're looking for stuff, it's usually expensive. If you're buying a figure, hold on, I just got to get these things out of here to put them in the bag. If you're looking to buy a figure, or I'm sorry, like an accessory like that for a figure, and guns can be expensive unless you're grabbing a sale, right? Gridiron's $5 sale is always a good way to get yourself some extra guns. Because let's be real, a lot of times the ones that the pew pews, a lot of the ones that come with the figure itself are just, they're like fine, but they're nothing really special. So it's nice to load up with that kind of stuff. Or making sure you're getting like mortar crates and missiles and all kinds of grenades and stuff like that from my brother Chris over at Sis 3D Arsenal. That he's got a ton of that, and it's awesome. But I think maybe I did show this off, and I know I showed it quickly, but like, look at that backpack, right? It's got fully adjustable, little bit of satellite. It all folds down to go right into the backpack. They actually stay in pretty well. And yeah, that, if I turn it around right, that piece, that phone is money. And then, so I had this green set. It was this one, It was this sling pack over the shoulder, this kind of regular looking backpack, and then another one that just had this nice crazy chrome design, and it's got another. This is another phone with that breaker style antenna, right? Remember, I was showing you, I was pointing that out. Breakers. It's got that little like kind of like lean to it, and it just boop. So anyway, $14.99, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll give that a shot. And then I got them, and they were awesome. And so I was like, yeah, I like these. And then I saw the other day on that came through PopsLink, and then I saw the other day they had a black set. And yo, look at now. It looks better when he's got the pew pew in his hand, but look at how dope that sling backpack looks on this Steeler. The black, and it sits just right. You know, I had it like this and put the strap over it, and yeah. Yep. So my dude runs the Mountain Cannon now, and he's got his little backpack that he can keep his stuff in. And these backpacks have like a little handle at the top that can hold it. So, and the black is it's the same thing. Oh, you know what? I am missing a green one. I thought so. Yeah, there's 5 of them, not 4. I must have stuck a backpack into somebody else's back. Oh, it was Short Fuse. Yeah. So the green, it's 5 for $15. That's $3 a piece. And then it's ridiculous. And so this shit comes here, boop, 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 boop. Oh, Chris, I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry. I'll have that done this week then. Yeah, dude. I love Rock Lockdown. I agree. I love the Steeler. So listen, it's like Steeler Short Fuse are on paper nothing special, but the colors are just right. The glasses they gave Short Fuse are just really set the figure off. The color of green on this, the black that they added. I love how this fits in the side in that side thing. It's a dope figure. I actually very much enjoy the fuck out of that figure. So yeah, that's that there. Something that I got, just a little quick thing. I got off of a Valiverse gun. I put a silencer on Dial Tone's weapon, and I'm so happy with it. Now, actually, I had him posed early. Oh, you know what? I got to stop showing those. I'm sorry. Anyway, that's got the whatchamacallit on there, and it makes more sense with it being you know, he's not a in your face frontline battler. He's, you know, kind of sneaking around a little bit to do what he's got to do in terms of like, you know, to get in and break into somebody's computer and do something. You would think that, you know, he would need to be quiet, and he's walking around with this giant hammer that is going to make all kinds of noise. And it just, I don't know, didn't seem like it made sense. So I just happened to, it came off of one, or wait, no, I'm sorry. Did that come off? Oh, it did come off of Valiverse figure, right? Because I have one that came with Ripcord. Ripcord came with 2 very cool pew pews, and yeah, so pretty dope. I felt like there was something else I wanted to show off, and I can't remember. Well, I can't say enough about that Desert Scorpion, to say the least. I'm sure everybody has probably seen it, but I just wanted to, Stevie had sent me these 2 wonderful ones. If anybody hadn't seen it, it's worth a look. These are amazing. I think is it this one? One of them. All right, one of them has the front comes off. So how cool is that? That I'm able to, I can put, you know, have Scrap or Firefly arm that up on the inside, or even, I mean, I haven't tried it yet, but I feel like I might even be able to get an actual full-on figure in there. So hopefully that winds up being the case. Let's see. Nice. Yeah, I had gone over. I showed everybody the stuff that Stevie had given me, and also, and just another jerk had sent a care package, and then obviously the aforementioned one that came from CG Horror. Now, I hadn't had a chance. I am just gonna, in case nobody saw it, boom. The Devilfish is super on point. I did show this earlier, but there's like a couple more people have shown up just in case you missed it. So there's that. Then I get the Night Raven drone. which this is just the more and more I look at this, it's just beyond belief awesome. And then the old Mountain Slammer, love that. So very excited to do more stuff with all that. Now the Armadillo, I still can't believe that just worked out that way. I think that's incredible. So I am definitely super stoked about that. Has anybody been over to sys3darsenal.com recently? Because my dude has been pumping out all kinds of new stuff on the regular, and it's all really awesome. So now everybody knows, the in general, the stuff that I show all the time, the mission crates, especially this one. This is the first thing that I had ever saw, and it's just the coolest thing. It's the scrap iron drone replacement. You put the what's in there. And the design of these crates, allows you to be able to use two different inner sleeves in like a really cool way. There's little notches cut and a system on the side that it's really, really awesome. But one of the things that is ultra new that I have been working with is, hold on, I gotta grab this one over here. Hold on. Oh, damn, what the hell did I do with it? Well, I have so much stuff all over the place that I have moved the motor crate, and I do not know where it is. I had it all right here. Oh, yeah, Rock. Yeah, definitely. Oh, there it is. Yeah, Rock received $25 gift card to sys3darsenal.com. Very, very generous of Chris. He donated that as well as to the actual fund itself. It was very, very generous of you, brother. Yeah, so we've got this. This is one of the newest ones. This is for the short fuse mortar crate, and so that is what it looks like there in his hand. He's got something in his other hand, so I can't show it, but the detail on that with the yellow stripe is totally off the freaking hook. And then just the overall the design of this, right? It's kind of a departure from the regular style crates that have the super cool top that sits on there nice and comes off. So it's an open face in essence. And then he's got this really cool rail, right? I had did a part of that shoot that I did. I actually poured the smoke down into this, and then it was coming out the top and billowing through those little holes. It was really cool. I couldn't quite get it to look the way that I wanted and to make sense, but listen, it's awesome. And so in here we got 9 of these. Little handle that fits perfectly in the hands. This comes off. Boop, boop, boop. And then there it is again. So you really, I think for the price, it's incredible. It's incredible. And then when you add the price into the factor, it's really like, if you've got Steeler short fuse, you got to have this. Now, I do believe he's got options where you can get something smaller. Now I have the scrap iron one, but boom, you can get this in Joe colors as well. So if you don't want to get the big one, you can still get your extra rounds, right? You got to have it. I can't wait to do. So what I'm doing is I have my extra Steeler short fuse set that I'm going to take his backpack with the mortar. I'm going to dye that black, and then I'm going to, or maybe blue. I haven't decided yet, but the thing is black. I might do the backpack in a blue, and then I'll have so I'm making a buddy for scrap iron, and he can have that backpack on while he's carrying this, and then he's going to roll, and wherever they decide to post up so scrap iron can operate his drones, we're going to go thumping with this bad boy right here. So that's some of the newer stuff that's from Sys3 Arsenal. Now, he's had these for a hot minute, but I picked up one of these, and I love it. I'm going back for the longer one, the one that would be shaped like this, the lengthwise. And something else that I've noticed, too, that I think I want to grab is, so when you stack a bunch of these like this, hold on one second. So when you stack it up, he has pallets. Oops, sorry. He has pallets that you can put all stack on neatly. And then so I got just enough to where I could do a bunch of multi-layers, and he's got like a shot of it in on sis3darsenal.com. That's an excellent shot. And you just see a bunch of his stuff. Like I think he's got like a whole bunch of the Punisher ones set up, and a whole bunch of these the medic ones too. And then there's just I love this. I love the colors. It's got the sis logo on it. Everybody knows. Geez, I'm such a disaster. The basic stuff, like you have, barrels. The lids come off. Totally, totally awesome. You can get things like this is almost one of my favorite things because it's like so well designed. It's scaled so well. It sits so good in their hands, and it's inexpensive. So things like this that you can get that are quality and look this awesome and will help your shot. The amount of money you spend on this, considering what it'll do for multitudes of shots that you're going to do, it's nothing. It like literally pays for itself in my regard. I love these. I will show these every single time. I absolutely love them. What a cool design with that's the Destro head. Everybody knows the Destro sign with the knife in the head. He took the hilt of the knife and then used it like one on each side, right, to kind of frame it in there. I just think it's genius. And like all of this stuff, it's top notch. This is one of my favorites, the chemical case. Oop. Open that up. And it's got all the Master Vice chemicals in here in this mini form that all come right down into this case. Again, another design choice that I love. It's got the half Cobra symbol just to make it fit just right. And another thing that I have here that go with the Master Vice chemicals is this. This is akin to the thing that Snake Eyes had when he came out of the cave. And the top will come off. And there's that nice little spiral helix in there. Real fucking cool. Like really fucking cool. And what I love that about is like, obviously the Master Vice elements, but that spiral thing is like plays into the Serpentor shit. Like I would love to do shot for shot recreation of a Rise Serpentor Rise with fucking classified figures. I would fucking love it. Now, it would take me forever, but I think it would be ridiculously cool. So they all play together. And if you've got the actual Hasbro Master Vice elements, you got to have this crate right here. And everything that I've shown is on sis3darsenal.com. Use promo code Destro Designs to get 10% off your purchase. Now, I saved this one for last because I love this new thing, this new design that Chris has come up with. I sent him like a 5-minute message telling him how much I enjoyed it. So everybody knows his general style mission crates, right? They've got a very nice, this reminds me of like a nice, like steel, like a Pelican style case, right? Something more industrial than that, but you know how it looks. It's like, made of metal, and it comes with cool shit like this in it. But the design of it with the handles and everything, it looks like a metal kind of material. And I love them. I fell in love with them. But he's just started to make these legacy crates that look more like a wood crate, right? You've got your wood planks going across. You have these are the pieces that keep it all together. So what I did was I slid my Master Vice or this element insert into this. So how cool is that? So now we've got this crate being shipped on a tanker, and it is holding, the key to Serpentor's fucking DNA, right? So that's what, very awesome that all Chris's stuff is so modular. But yeah, see how I can just take that right out, and now I can go back to having nothing in there. Honestly, I think what I'm going to do next is I'm taking this gold tray out, and that is going to go in the Dreadnoks. And the reason that I want that is because you don't pay Dreadnoks in like anything reasonable. Of course, those dudes are going to ask you for a crate full of gold or something ridiculous like that. A bunch of cherry soda and fucking, and then a box full of gold. And so let's see. I think I don't want to turn it over because I don't want the pieces to fall out, but this could easily be remedied. And again, Chris's stuff is, oh, okay. I see how that is now. But you know what? I am going for it. All right. So the pieces are divided like that. So I know this is off camera. And then it looks like, okay. So I just got to kind of turn them over like that. Got it. All right. So there we go. Easy breezy. And again, when you see me struggling like this, it is literally because Chris's stuff is made so perfectly sized that my big goofy fingers just have a hard time kind of being nimble. Now we're talking. This is where it's at for me. So definitely, I can hear Cobra Commander saying to Destro and a bunch of like infantry and troopers, like, get this over to Zartan so he can get the Dreadnoks to continue and then up their game on the civil unrest. And then you're in like this sweaty little place where they're giving this over to Zartan and they open it up and it's like, boom. How fucking cool is that? That is so awesome. Well, that makes me happy. Chris, I love your stuff. I can never get enough. So so I could have this. It's here. I've got, this stuff's being shipped. And so you're going to open up, the Dreadnoks and you got the gold. And then you open up the Cobra one and you're like, and this is what we need you to do. Go open up these in the middle of a downtown place. Boom. Let's see. Steelers fire. Can't wait to use my gift card. I used a Monster Force spare head to make scrap iron a buddy. Oh, I got to see that, bro. You got to send that shit to me. One of the Crimson Moon Sleepwalker spare heads. Okay. I'm not entirely familiar with those, but yeah, let me know. That's what's up. I want to see that. So that is, these legacy crates. I just love the look of them. I still love the original style, and I'm sure I'll have more of those. But I got to be honest, I see myself wanting to have some more of these. Even the Joe colors that I thought were totally awesome. And then there's also they've got all kinds of like new munitions and stuff over there. If you've never been over, he's got the beds, the foot lockers. I have this wonderful armory setup that I've had an idea in my mind about it and I wanted to do it for a while. But I think it's going to be actually coming up soon. I did a shoot where it was all the retro figures that I was using, and I think I need to get me a Tele Viper. So that would be like the 4, and then I want to have those in a shot with that armory because those figures look great when you shoot them, and so does that armory. So I think that's going to look good. Something that Chris has told me he is working on that I'm very excited about, can't wait for, is in terms of like that armory setup, he's working on something for an Alley Viper. So I do believe he said it's going to be involving something to hold their shields, right? So if an Alley Viper walks up to this armory, what's he going to do with that shield, right? So I think Chris is addressing that so you can have something set up and that'll hold it. And the other one was a mission crate for Major Blood. Now, I'm having him lead by his fire team. So if I get something like this for Major Blood, that will be just the coolest damn thing, and I absolutely cannot wait for that. I think that would just be so awesome. So, Chris, I got my eyes on that. Eyes looking forward to the future on that because I think that'll really be sweet. Oh, and little things like here, I can't if you look down here, he's got the 788 printed in. Can you see that? So it's little things like that I love all his stuff. It's amazing. You gotta go over for yourself and check it out and see what the dude has going on. That's sis3darsenal.com. Make sure you use Destro Designs for 10% off your purchase. And make sure you follow him on the socials, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. It's all the same thing. I don't know if you're on Threads or any of the other ones, but yeah, the big 3, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, at SYS3darsenal.com. And again, don't forget, use Destro Designs, get that 10% off, and yeah, that's you have to. If you are collecting figures, and even if you're not taking photos, just for your own fun. I mean, I hope some of you guys, I hope you guys play with the toys. You know what I mean? Because yeah, sure, setting them up for a photo shoot is more like doing this or that. But nah, man, there's days that I don't have time to take photos or do anything, but I just come down here and I sit right here, and then I just pick up like a figure, and I'm like, yeah, and I try to like get a pose out of it, so that way when I do come down to try and set something up, I already have an idea of what works, what doesn't. Oh, I tried to put him in that pose, couldn't get him to fucking stand, so I don't want to do that. I'm going to try to do something else. But yeah, right now I'm obsessed with this gridiron backpack. It's really, really dope. Now, I broke a piece. It used to hold this, this pew-pew on it. It used to hold it on the side, but I busted it. And honestly, I'm not that worried, because I think I'm going to take the bow and arrow sleeve out altogether, and then that leaves you with just this. I think I'm going to get a piece of soft goods and put some soft goods in there, and I think this is going to become Beachhead's, Through the Woods Commando backpack. It's Snake Eyes. It's for Snake Eyes. It's got one of these that comes with it, and then it came with. If anybody hasn't seen me show it, it came with this bow and arrow, or not bow and arrow. This you know what I'm talking about. You saw it. I don't want to say the name, but anyway, and I can only imagine it was like, oh, maybe he uses that to send a grappling hook up, and then because it's got the removable grappling hook with the string, and the string is like stretchy. So like when I set him up on a wall, he like slung all the way down. It wasn't like when I did that version 4 shoot and I used that little red hook and that worked out all well and whatnot. Yeah, it was not like that. So, anywho's, yeah. So go check out my dude sis3darsenal.com. Destro Designs for 10% off. Oh, Chris, I've had the damnedest time getting with the post office. They messed up a delivery from my brother Roblox. Roblox had sent me this very nice care package, and they almost delivered it to the wrong house. And then instead of like bringing it to my house, they brought it to they sent it back to him. It was crazy. But anyway, I have your package. I will have that mailed out to you ASAP. And I appreciate the swapping of the heads. And actually, I'll be reaching out for another order soon. I'm eyeballing a few things. Like I said, I really want. What did I have in mind? I really want another one of these, the longer one, to go with it. And I can't remember off the top of my head, but I was looking at it the last time I was on the site. I was like, yes, you know what? I didn't get it with the last order, and I can't remember why. So yeah, I will be in touch, and thank you so much. There was something else before I bust in the Matt stuff. I showed you the Stevie. Oh, you know what? That's what I'll show you. So I tried to do it a different way, and time has been a restraint. But everybody remembers. It's worth showing off again. Stevie made me this wonderful console. Everybody went goo goo gaga over it. It's dope. Yep. Pop posted the Doc figure on sale. Troop Builder? Yes. As a matter of fact, it does. Oh, and Sister the Arsenal has these. I keep forgetting to show this door every time. It's awesome. You could pop this part out and do different ones. They have single ones. He has the ones that look like it's a jail cell, the whole nine. Gotta have that shit. Yes. Rock Lockdown. I definitely look at Doc as a true. He's a troop building figure because he's awesome. He's got a generic look to an extent, and it's definitely a troop builder. Now, what I came to understand is in the comics, Doc has a daughter who is also a medic. So the way that I'm looking at that is, I kind of want I want my Doc to have his daughter with him. And I don't know how I'm going to make the figure itself look more dainty per se, but I got to find a way to put like, a female head on that body somehow, and that have not look ridiculous. Like just something with some hair to connote that it's a female, you know what I mean? That sort of deal.
Don't mind me. I have an itch in my back and I can't reach it to save my life, and it's driving me mad. So yeah, I have to say I'm co-signing Doc being a troop builder. I don't see why you couldn't have. Now, I have this shot in my head that is a little bit further down the road, but what was supposed to be the very next scene in G.I. Joe Silent Serpents, what was supposed to be the next episode, the next chapter in G.I. Joe Silent Serpents was at the end was going to be a melee, and then the aftermath of that was going to be having all the Joes that are like non-combatants per se. So I'd have a bunch of docs tending to people all over, putting people on gurneys. I have a bunch of tripwires, so I'd have multiple tripwires, scanning the area and looking for, other ordnance, making sure everything that is on fire got blown up is being put out, because I'll have the firefighters and barbecue there, stuff like that. Like that's a scene that I have planned in my head. And like in the forefront, you'll see like General Hawk talking to Beachhead, asking what happened, son, and Beachhead telling them what happened. And then meanwhile in the back, you just see all these like the cleanup crew, troopers picking up stuff, troopers helping to carry gurneys out and stuff like that. But yeah, and part of that was having multiple docks, 100%. So one of the places that I had said that I wanted to put this defense system on was the top of the outpost. As I've always said, is almost damn near the best is the best bang for your buck. You get a whole deal. But yeah, how good does that look? I mean, if there was just something that like moved him around the front perimeter, he steps up into it and it just slides around. But anyway, the armadillo is where it's at. That looks good. And again, I'm happy I got that heavy duty, but at the sale price. So yeah. Y'all know what it is. Pull out the 50 and just have him. What do you say? Just have him stand there. Well, you know what, Matt? I wonder if it gets over the top, because it actually looks like it could slide. Like even if he just had. Oh yeah. So if he. Now the missile system. But yeah. Holy hell. The missiles don't stick out in the way that we wanted to, but I could put them on the top and it would be just as good. So yeah, you nailed it, brother. It sits actually quite well, like ridiculously well. Look at that. How cool is that? Great job, Matt. That was a good suggestion. So he does work with the OP on him. So does he walk around with the OP? Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why that they didn't have. I don't know. It's just so absurd that I don't know why they didn't have something that is more of a straight direct to the ground look. You know what I mean? Oh, I put the wrong thing down. So while I have this up, y'all know what it is. Backpack holders for each side. Oops, I gotta hold that out there. Little kind of holding area. You could put your sidearm in there. And just overall in general, look at all the detail. Look at how crazy awesome this is. Every little panel's got all this awesomeness, right? And it's all customizable colors, the whole nine. I got this one in Joe Scheme. This is the very first thing that I saw on Etsy. And I remember when I saw it, I out loud went, what the fuck? Because I hadn't seen anything that looked so dope like that. And it's like how this is. You put stuff on the top here. You can actually take this off and have these standing. You could have a standalone place. This could just be out in the front. You know what I mean? Hanging out. And then you have like something being covered in the back. I actually almost took this outside last night when I did my snow job thing, but I was like, no, I need to keep it simple. Now, one of the best parts about Matt's stuff is its modular ability. So you look at this piece right here that gives it a nice finished look, but very easily that slips out, that comes off, it fits perfect, and then you can connect other pieces. So the bar right here that comes in Joe's Scheme can be attached right to this, And Matt also recently told me that I could take, one side of the bar and put it over here and then have the other side giving me this really crazy cool spot. That's going to be a photo shoot that you guys are not going to want to miss when all that comes together, because yeah, that's going to be fire. I'm going all out with the Joes. I'm actually going to probably have to make that out in the shop because I have my one shop table is 4 foot by 8 foot, and I have a feeling that that's how big it's going to be. There's going to be running water on that one too. So I absolutely love this thing. Like I said, it was the first thing that I saw from Matt. I fell, and after I seen this, I immediately went to his page and was like, dude, what the fuck? Looking at all the different shit that he had there, I just like multiple times out loud was just like, what the fuck? Because I had never seen it or heard of it. And I was like, what? And I was so taken by it that I immediately reached out and was like, dude, I've never seen this stuff before. I want to just take pictures of your stuff and plaster it everywhere. And we've been collabing ever since. And same goes for Chris from 3D Arsenal. I was I told you, I saw this like immediately, and I just started buying his stuff and taking photos of it. And then and now between the two of them, we are making beautiful music, as they say, by them setting up the pins, and I just knock them down, because when I get their stuff in my dials, it's really what takes everything over the top. And it's a combination of the two of them too. You have something big like the Outpost, but when I have a bunch of these green, which I do, a bunch of the green Joe mission crates and all the different kind of the little ammo cases and all the little things, it really sends the shit through the stratosphere in terms of how awesome it looks. So they are. So does he walk around with the Outpost on him? I got it now, man. I'm sorry. Right. He just takes the whole Outpost with him. We'll find a way to connect it. And when he fucking walks around, he's walking with the Outpost on him. Yeah, dude, that's fucking funny. That's hilarious. But yeah, so I have this thing where I feel like, the symphony can be created by the sum of multiple instruments and musicians playing. And that's how I feel about, the combination of the stuff from Matt from Mosmine and Chris from 3D Arsenal. When you put them together, it's ridiculous. So the bar back here is a Cobra blue and gray, and I'm going to be making up a scene soon. I'm going to have that, and then behind that I'm going to have a bunch of the Cobra blue stuff that like I have a ton of this that's in Cobra blue, and I do that because I love the Cobra blue. But the barrel, but when you put it all together, dude, it's ridiculous. So maybe someday they'll do a combo deal. Like if you buy this Outpost that's in the Joe Green, you get a barrel and a mission crate or something like that at a package deal. Because dude, when you put Conrad was nice enough that right on the live stream he bought the Outpost from Mosmine. And as like a thank you for doing such a cool thing and hopefully inspiring others to make a purchase, and how just cool that was, I ordered a couple things from Sys 3D Arsenal, a mission crate and a barrel to say maybe a couple of ammo crates or whatever it was, but it was a couple things. But yeah, just to send to him as a thank you for that. And now Conrad, Conrad is an excellent photographer and a pose master. He doesn't even need any of this stuff, like legitimately. He takes amazing photos. And yeah, so that's all good. And that was very nice. So, and of course I always have to show off my baby. Very cool. I had an idea when I did that civil unrest shoot that I was going to be able to use this, but this was the focal point and everybody was running out of the back. And I realized that when I went to go do the last shoot that I did not have the room on that table, and I could not set something up out in this area. And I just didn't have time to run back and forth to the shop. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to do that. And then I am going to be coming in hot, because I scaled it the other day to get an idea with the lights. I'm going to have somebody coming out of that door in the back, and there's going to be people back there. I'm going to use one of those red accent lights, and that shit is going to be the Raptor is so killer. Yes, dude, he's got everything he has is a legit banger, right? So when you look at the Raptor is awesome, dude. That Shadowhawk is fucking ridiculous. You can have dual. I'm gonna have wolf spiders coming down each one of those sides. Dude, that thing. I think when I was looking at all that stuff, it was all like, wow, oh my god, I can't believe this. Wow, but when I saw that Shadowhawk, I was again, what the fuck? Because it's just that much. It just blows you away that much. Now he has this to take you over the top with stuff. I mean, how? What? Look at how awesome that is. I love the front. This is what I fell in love with first, is the design of this front. I think that is so awesome. Oh yeah, dude, that thing is insane. I feel like you did like this Atlas is like taking something that cool and just blowing it up. But yeah, this is what I fell in love with at first, was this look from the front. I think it's unique as a motherfucker, but totally awesome and like feasible, right? So you got a window, you got your optics over here for your gunner, you got that work in tandem with these optics. You've got this up here so somebody can pop their head up and take a look. One of the things that separates it completely from any other thing I've seen is this. How this opens like this. The doors wide open. There's just nothing like that. It's crazy. Great details, like you pull out, you get your figure set, boop, slides right back in. You can adjust it in and out to fit right. There's gun racks. You can fit 2 guns behind each person. The different angled seats, which I just think is just an awesome thing to throw in there, especially for like the gunner. The kid in me fucking loves that. The amount of detail that's in this cockpit that you can't see because I got it so far back. But man, and I say this all the time, I have intentions on making a full detailed commercial video for this, and I wish somebody would just pay me to do this all day. If I find some kind of a conglomerate that wants me to pimp out their stuff. That's what the back looks like. I have so many parts that are like my favorite part. But this right here, that door with bulkhead style, the amount of detail that's in it, fucking forget it. The back, now I definitely gotta remember to get the M249s to put so right here and right here, that pose and aim all over the place. But where I can't see, so that's why I'm flying one. There we go. Sorry, I can't see. That's why I'm having such a hard time. So all these seats sit down. Jesus, there you go. All of them fit. It's amazing. I feel like we are forming a Hasbro underground rocket. All right. And yeah, so look, this stuff fits perfectly. Boom. Got mission crates right in the back. You can do whatever you need. Really sweet. These fit. Oh, wait. Hold on. That fit? Oh, I thought that fit. Oh, I got the thing. That's right. Yeah, it does fit. Damn near perfectly. Oh, yeah. There we go. So, look at that. Perfect. So you can be a troop could be accessing that from the back. So there's so much to love about this. It comes with jerry can on each side, which I think is super cool. I like how this has on each side a handle. So when it's holding, you can hold it. The figure can hold it from either side, and it can go like right down to the side. It's kind of hard to explain how that works, but if you pose figures a lot, you know what I mean by that. And then Matt is working on something where this, when you take this off, it would have legs. So then this could become a cover of some sort. for like, storing stuff underneath, where if you had, like a wall and then a wall, maybe three on the side, because this has got backpack racks also. Yeah. Every time I look at this, I still happen to find something new. And Matt, had said this thing before, about, when we were talking about quality and pricing and stuff like that. He said, I know I got to earn that space on the shelf. And I felt like he said so much with that about, understanding the wants and needs and of a customer, as well as, making sure that product is being delivered at a truly, remarkable scale, where, everything that they have, it's, every aspect of this investment is something that you want to make and that you're happy about, moving forward. So I just think it's an incredible, philosophy, so to speak, of what to do and how to approach, the what you're trying to do for your customers. I think it's pretty fly. So that made me happy when he said that. It's like, those are the kind of things I can really stand behind. And so when I talk about Matt's stuff or Chris's stuff, it's because I have it, I've paid money for it, and it stands up to what I consider to be, the higher standards of quality. So, in my contracting business, I don't fuck around. Oops, is Rock leaving? All right, Rock, have a good night, brother. Did he say good night? Oh, there it is. All right, y'all, I'm done for the night. Good to hang as always. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it, my brother. We'll see you tomorrow in them streets. So yeah, when I talk about this guy's stuff, if there's anybody, I know we're usually down to the point in the chat where everybody has heard this before, but I just, I always want to say some nice things. Like, I appreciate the level of quality that they put into things, because like in my contracting business, I've made a name for myself for doing the best work. I don't fuck around, right? I don't do, landlord apartment style repairs on things. I either do things that are safe and right in every way possible, or I don't do them at all, right? I mean, obviously there's always exceptions, if you've got an apartment where, this lady's going to get put out unless I could just get this water turned off for the night, and then I can come back tomorrow, make a proper repair. Like, yeah, sure. You have to deal with certain situations, but in general, delivering a quality product is where it's at. And these guys do. And it makes me real easy for me to stand behind. Matt, did you reach back out about Joe Fest? I remember I got back to you like a day late or 2 days late about that. Who's going to Joe Fest? I know we talked about on Destro is my spirit animal. We talked about over with Mark. He talked about going, and oh man, you know what? I didn't want to touch base with my guest on that, but I don't know if everybody is seeing at this point. There's only 7 of us. I don't even know if I want to get into it, but yeah, if you're unaware, there's a guy that's got a really toxic fucking podcast that had crossed the line recently, and they doxed Mark about where he works and stuff like that. Now, Mark don't give a shit about some nerd saying anything bad about him. Mark is not a bitch. So he would have probably laughed about it and moved on, except, there was some information that was just kind of put out there that I'm sure people could find if they went searching for it, but what the guy did was not cool. Mark has been very good to me, has given me quite a bit of opportunities. And in the time that I've known him to speak to him, he's just a solid motherfucker. So I should have said this off the rip, but I definitely stand with Mark, and fuck that other guy. Fuck him right in the face. So I would have to say that it is 11:30. I am probably going to move on. I got heavy duty opened up. I gave away the winners of the Pop Cult Frenzy giveaway that he was so nice to pony up for $350 gift cards. I'm gonna, when I reach out to give the the winners their their codes for their gift card, I will work with them and see what kind of figure that they want. I'm looking to try to give. I have a bunch that are, on the less expensive side. I'm going to offer some of these up, but no, I want to get figures in the hands of some people that are going to enjoy it. I recently bought some troop builders that were just like super on sale, and I was like, I can't say no to this for this figure. Like the Iron Grenadier bat was like $17 on Pop's Link for like 2 days, and I ordered 2 of them, and then like 2 days later, that was still that cheap, and I was like, okay, fine, I'll get 2 more. I'm going to see if anybody wants those. I might want to give one of those away, perhaps. But yeah, so we are going to look into the new year. If you're still around, you can get to hear me talk about that. There's a really good chance I'm going to do a New Year's show. I haven't decided fully, but I think it's going to happen. The only thing that's going to depend is if by Wednesday morning comes, if I don't have a certain amount of work done in this building, in this apartment that I'm working on, I may not be able to do it because I may have to get things done to have a certain amount done at the end of business on the 1st. I know working on New Year's, whatever, but I took some time off, and I didn't get behind per se, but I'm up against it in terms of getting it done. I'm not worried. Things are going to be fine. I'm still infatuated and loved with the move that I made recently in my personal life. It's really made everything great, and I can't complain at all. So another great week in the books for us as a community. I think I loved the love that was in the chat, in the timeline. On the holidays, everybody was really, sending the Merry Christmas love, and that I think that's always great. I love that we all kind of talk about stuff that maybe a lot of dudes don't, where like the other day where we were talking about everybody, how hard it was recently to have your kids getting older. I thought that was an interesting bit of the chat to have there, because I got a feeling that some of us didn't grow up with the most inviting environment to talk about your feelings, right? So I think that sometimes when I hear people talk, when I hear people saying certain things about that, I feel like you're hearing decades of feelings that are just like falling out all at the same time, which is good. Remember, we all got to get it out there. Don't hold it in. That shit's poison. So yeah, I thought that was very cool. Again, we sent $700 to the family for the giveaway. I heard from the gentleman, and he said 100%. You guys saved Christmas. He talks about. He goes, dude. Every time I think about it, I get choked up. So again, if you were, and listen, anybody that retweeted or reposted helped. So everybody was involved, and we did a really good job. So I can't complain, and I can't stop putting different guns in Beachhead's hand. So. All right. Again, I got to stop saying all that. I'm going to get off. So thank you all so much for joining me once again, especially those that have hung on this whole entire time. It is time for me to sign off. I will see everybody out in those Twitter streets tomorrow. I appreciate and love you all. Have a good night.